We're going to take a little gear change at the moment because there's a lovely moment here at the stadium at the moment, a tribute to the 14-year-old boy who was brutally murdered in a sword attack in Hainault earlier in the week. He was an Arsenal fan. Bukayo Saka was his favourite player, and it's definitely been news that has shocked everyone across the country just because of the heinous nature of the crime in itself. There's a tribute going on here at the Emirates now. His picture is on the screens, and everyone in the crowd is clapping as a tribute to him at the moment, a 1 minute's applause. For me personally, it's a little bit close to home, more close to home than I would want to geographically. Daniel Anjorin's live not too far from where I do, but also he is somebody who was known to me. His sister was in my daughter's class at primary school. I know his mum. I know his siblings. They've been to our birthday parties. They've been to my house. And it's been a very, very sad time for all of us, actually, this week. Never far from my minds. I can be doing anything. I can be laughing and joking, but they've been in our minds all week. It's been something that has torn most of us to pieces, actually. And even being on the periphery, I haven't seen them for a few years, but we're all connected because our children are connected. My daughter is still in touch with his younger sister, and it was a very sobering week. A really sort of, as I say, it's like another layer added to a already horrific storyline, and this is so lovely that the club have paid tribute to someone who is one of their own. And I'm sure he will always be one of their own as we go forward. It was a young life that was lost far too soon, a family that have been irrevocably shattered forever. Their lives will never be the same again, but they'll never come to terms with it. But hopefully this love and support from Arsenal Football Club can give them a morsel of comfort. And I hope Daniel Anjorin's light will continue to shine brightly. There will also be another tribute to Daniel Anjorin in the 14th minute. Supporters from both sides of the divide have joined together, and there will be an applause for him because he was 14 years old, and that is when they will be supporting him and his family once again. I suppose football's scarcely important in a time like this, but I'm sure the family and the football family paying tribute to Daniel is huge. He would no doubt have been avidly watching to see if his beloved Gunners can take a step closer in this intriguing of title races. Stuart, do they have a chance? Is it going to happen for Arsenal this season?
Well, put it this way, I think they'll do everything in their power, as in they'll get 9 points between now and the end of the season. Whether that's good enough, only Manchester City can tell and decide that. The bottom line is, it's been intriguing for all of us. The 3-horse race has turned into a 2-horse race. We're very close to the end of the season, and I've got to say, Arsenal or Manchester City, whoever win it, they'll deserve to win it. Arsenal have come on leaps and bounds from last year. There's no doubt, I think, within their team setup, they would have looked back on this season, whichever way it falls, whether they get silverware or not, and know what they've got to do to improve this, to make sure that they do get their hands on silverware, because that's the dream of Arteta and this football club.
Bournemouth at home today, away at Manchester United next Sunday, and then at home to Everton on the final day of the season. And it's been announced that actually the Arsenal will be inviting all the Invincibles, the squad and the staff, including Arsene Wenger, to attend that final home game of the season here against Everton as well. That would be a beautiful end if they can win the title, but of course Manchester City stand in their way. They're at home to Wolves today, Fulham away next. That's live on Talksport next week, and you and I and Sam will be there as well. Tottenham as well, and they're at home to West Ham on the final game of the season. Of all the 3 games that Arsenal have, though, is this a potential banana skin, do you think?
I think this is the toughest of the 3, and you might say, what you're talking about, they've got to go to Old Trafford. I don't see the Manchester United. I think if they get to that, they'll win that this is the game where expectation is, the home games are comfortable. We'll always pick up 3 points at home. Bournemouth are on decent form, So I think there is a potential here for an upset.
When you look at the teams that have taken the most points in their last 10 games, Manchester City are at the top with 26 points, Arsenal second with 25, Bournemouth are third with 20 points. They are an in-form side right now. That
tells you everything, Resh, I think, and the bottom line is they're going to have to earn a victory today, it's fair to say. I don't think that can be half-cocked and come away from here with 3 points. They're going to have to roll Bournemouth over, be mindful of the counter-attack, and they're going to have to deserve a victory.
Okay, so the stakes couldn't be higher for Mikel Arteta's men this lunchtime. The decibel levels here at the Emirates are pretty high as well. Home is most certainly where the heart is. The teams are making their way out, and they will stand across the Premier League hoarding, and the atmosphere has just stepped up a notch. Arsenal have won 6 of their 7 Premier League home matches this year in 2024. The only blip was, of course, that alarming loss to Aston Villa. But they have found the grit and the industry that was missing last season. The only thing is, it's not entirely in their own hands. They do need to win their last 3 games. Starting here today against Bournemouth, there is no room for error. As for Bournemouth, they're not in a relegation dogfight, but Mikel Arteta's compatriot and childhood friend Indoni Areola has high ambitions. A European spot is mathematically at least still possible, and either way, he will want to finish his first season in the Premier League off in style. They're already on course for their highest points total ever. Who says 1230s are criminal when high drama is pretty much always guaranteed? We're ready to go at the Emirates, so I'm going to hand you over to our commentary here today. Listen to this one in the company of the former Nottingham Forest, Manchester City and England defender and manager Stuart Pearce. But first, Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Beautiful day, North London. And Arsenal will be hoping for a beautiful end to the season. And you know what? Last week we saw a 4-goal thriller in this time slot. The week before, a brilliant Leicester performance that almost secured them promotion. The week before that, a vibrant Newcastle thrashed Spurs. And the weekend before that, the same side, Newcastle United, scored 4 in a 7-goal thriller with West Ham United. If early kickoffs are a crime, we'll take the punishment. It would be a crime for Arsenal to end the season empty-handed now. Any judge knows that they've been brilliant. Best attack, best defence, most wins. And everyone has seen they don't cut corners, they score from them. But unless the Manchester City machine falters, their sentence will be second place again. And that is on the proviso that the Gunners keep winning. You can build a case for Bournemouth today, no doubt. Their manager has a history of winning against the odds in Spain. They are on for a record finish. The Cherries have only lost 2 of the last 10. If they are vulnerable, it's because their defence has too many holes in it. Only Forest, West Ham, Burnley, Luton and Sheffield United have conceded more, and that might be all the encouragement that Arteta and his team need to triumph. Well, in order not to break the law today, the final championship games all kick off now, with Ipswich eyeing a return to the Premier League. Birmingham, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn hoping to avoid being sent down. Talksport 2 has all the action. We will keep you abreast of the main stories and the verdicts here. But we're concentrating on the title race in the Premier League, where Arsenal in red with white sleeves and white shorts are ready to kick off against Bournemouth in yellow and black. The stadium rises for North London Forever, which is officially titled The Angel. But its chorus is catchy and its tempo resonates around the Emirates Stadium on this sun-drenched lunchtime. Referee David Coote, VAR Peter Banks. Stuart Pearce is here. Arsenal must keep winning. What should they be wary of with Bournemouth today?
Well, Solanke straight away. The stats bear it out that this fella has started to score and is a real threat. The wide areas, Semenya and Cliver have been a handful for both teams. That's the big problem for Arsenal.
Well, Cliver already a handful, gets fouled by Ben White down in the corner after collision between him and Saka, squeezing him into the far left-hand side of the pitch that we look at, and across comes Lewis Cook to take the first set piece of the game. And Arsenal, who've been so good from scoring from set pieces, have to defend one, a dangerous one, inside the first minute here. They'll have to be wary.
Yeah, they certainly will. Good opportunity here to whip something in and around the goalkeeper. They need to miss the first man, Odegaard, in that area at the moment, with Havertz just behind him.
It's Cook to take the set piece deep towards the far post, headed away commandingly by Gabriel. Back in again it comes, flicked on towards the far post, and it was Wataru who got up there, but it was cleared rather easily by Arsenal. And now Saka trying to go down the other way. Interesting duel between those two. Wataru playing at left back again today. His speed will be important on the counter-attack, which Arsenal love to exploit. Quick throw taken by White, down to Havertz, who's down in the right corner. It's on from Odegaard to Saka, but a little bit too heavy, and across comes Christie to shepherd the ball behind, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right. Arsenal can set the tone for the weekend. City don't play until 5:30. Next week could be key. City go to Fulham on Talksport at this time, in this time slot. Then Arsenal to Manchester United on the Sunday session. And then comes City's game in hand against Spurs on Talksport Tuesday, May 14th. Could be a significant date for the diary. Travers plays out from the back to the left-hand side. Zabarnyi half clears it, comes back towards Havertz. It's in midfield where it's won by Solanke, who tries to find Kluivert, who's challenged by White. It's going to be a free kick just short of the halfway line. 0-0, 2 minutes gone on Talksport.
Yeah, Bournemouth have settled into this game in a relaxed manner. They look like a team that have not lost for a while, and on a decent run, nice and composed in what they're doing.
There's two centre-halves going to be important tonight. Senesi and Zabarnyi at the heart of the defence. Senesi scored last week. Zabarnyi wasn't available because of illness, and Senesi's just put the ball rather simply out of play on this near touchline and gifted Arsenal momentum back down the right side.
Yeah, they're almost playing out from the back and encouraging Arsenal to come and press, trying to seed that space in behind the press.
Odegaard in possession on the right side of the penalty area, flicked by White into the box. Havertz back to Saka, went to pull the trigger. Cook came across and blocked it. Tomiyasu trying to win it back. Partey does. Odegaard in the thick of the action pushes the ball through to Saka, goes left via Trossard to Rice edge of the area, cuts past Semenyo, then gives it back to Gabriel. Quick sharp passing from Arsenal as they move up to the edge of the box again with Tomiyasu down the left hand side. 0-0 the score. Out to Odegaard. Odegaard looks up, back to him from Trossard, who's fouled on the edge of the area. Referee's playing on here, despite the fact that Arsenal, I think, wanted the free kick. Back on his feet now, Trossard. Rice has it, gives it to Trossard, who's still limping a little bit over on the far side. Goes down the left, Tomiyasu chasing, so is Semenyo, who's recovered from the knee injury sustained last week. Poor clearance straight to Partey. They're keeping them hemmed in inside their final third at this moment in time. But now a chance to break maybe as they lose the ball, Arsenal. It goes up to halfway. Tomiyasu wins it back in a tussle with Solanke, and Arsenal got it back again. They can't and won't give Bournemouth a chance to breathe at this moment in time.
Yeah, Bournemouth on the turnover, you can see they don't go long directly, it's short passes, they'll play through the thirds, but they do it quickly, so that makes them a real threat in that respect.
Trossard getting to the byline, trying to get the cross in, just overran it slightly. It goes behind and away for a goal kick. Talksport 2 has all the details on the final day of the Championship. Download our app, you can flick between the two stations. We will give you the as it stands situation here on Talksport, and as it stands right now, Ipswich are going to be promoted to the Premier League. That's as it is at this moment in time. We haven't had a goal so far in any of the games that have started on Talksport 2, and I can tell you that Birmingham, Huddersfield and Rotherham at this moment still occupy those bottom three places in the Championship. They'll be heading to League One if things stay as they are, but I don't think there's ever been a day in league football where all of the results have stayed as they are when they kick off.
We do love a twist and turn, Samuel, as you well know. I covered I saw the game against Chelsea here, and there was a lot of talk about how well Havertz done. I'll tell you what, Odegaard's performance that day against Chelsea, I think, was the best individual performance I've seen by any player this season in the Premier League, Sam.
Won by Havertz on halfway. It's 4 against 3 in Arsenal's favour. Rice leads the charge. He goes galloping through the middle of the pitch, gets to the edge of the penalty area. He's got Saka to his right. He feeds him. It's a little bit short, but Saka takes it on, gets to the byline, wriggles, plays it across the face of goal. It takes a deflection and goes out for a corner. And Kai Havertz there showing his strength on halfway, bumping the defender off the ball, winning it, turning it over, and immediately they go on the counter-attack, and boy, didn't they.
Yeah, this is where I think Declan Rice can go to another level. He's won the ball, he drove with it from the halfway line, he had players left and right, but he's looking for the pass. So I think he should be looking for the shot, and if the shot don't come, play the pass.
Corner to be taken, near touchline from Arsenal, the most prolific corner takers in the league, the scorers of the most goals from set pieces and from corners. They can break a record today if they deliver this in towards the far post. Punched away by Travers. Back to Trossard, who missed kicks in front of the Bournemouth fans. They enjoyed that over in the sunshine far side. And then he turns the ball back into midfield, and it will be picked up by his captain, Martin Ødegaard. Everton 2, Tottenham Hotspur women 0. As the ball goes into the box, and it's picked up by Trossard again, who shoots. Comes back to Ødegaard. Lovely touch. Shot. And the deflection takes the ball high and over and out for another Arsenal corner.
I tell you what, 2 sensational blocks there by both central defenders. Shots that were destined for the corner of the net. They done brilliantly. The art of good play as well.
Arsenal need one more goal from a corner to have scored the most goals in a season from corners in Premier League history. They currently hold the record jointly with Oldham and West Brom on 16. Here is Saka from the right side into Ødegaard, trickling up towards the edge of the penalty area, and then giving it to Rice, edge of the box. He quickly turns it back to Saka, and Saka, right angle of the penalty area, right side, feeds his captain once more. Bournemouth backing off. Ødegaard looking for space, produces a cross, left-footed, deep towards the far post, headed away. It'll be Trossard who picks it up 10 yards short of the area, and then he'll recycle it by getting it back to Rice in the centre circle. Chest puffed out, hair slicked back. He sweeps the ball to the near touchline. It's collected by Saka, moves towards the edge of the box, and he in turn finds the well-groomed Ødegaard down the right to White, back into Saka. Saka to shoot. The deflection was always going to stop that from going towards goal. He just probably didn't look set. That was a left-footed shot that was on, and he tried to take it with his right.
Yeah, he should have got his shot away slightly earlier there. They've had 3 shots now blocked, so the stats will say nothing on target, but I tell you what, they have been 3 very, very good opportunities, Sam.
Still 0-0 on Talksport. We've played at 8 minutes. It feels like we've only been here for 2. Here is Ødegaard down the right. It's been constant Arsenal attack since the whistle blew. Here is Havertz, back to White again. Saka steps in, but it's away by Senesi. Up to Solanke, trying to turn. And he does manage to turn. He looks to release Semenyo, but that will be swept up rather easily by Gabriel. And Arsenal have possession back again. They will go 4 points clear with a win temporarily. Bournemouth up to 9th if they get a victory today. And Andoni Iraola knows they can't realistically reach Europe, but more points, more prize money. Here's Saka on the right side, left-footed, drills the ball in field, blocked by Senesi again. Centre field is Ødegaard. Again, they are swarming forward, Arsenal. There's loads of space on the far side for Tomiyasu, whose cross is deep. Havertz is going to meet this, right side of the area. Again, he faces up the defender, Ouattara. Ouattara backs off. Again, Havertz continues to hold on to it. Then a little backheel round the corner for White, who sends it back. And the effort from Trossard is blocked again by another great bit of defensive play. This time I think it was Ryan Christie who got back there. It might have been Senesi. And it goes out and away for a throw-in on this near side.
Sam, I can't remember ever shots on target, so many in such a short space of time, being blocked by last-ditch defending.
It was Senesi who got there. Ball played forward by Arsenal. Bottom the right side. And then Gabriel with a short back pass to Raya, who comes out quickly ahead of Solanke and manages to clear. And that's the danger, isn't it, on the counter-attack with so many bodies in opposition territory. If it breaks down and they get it up front to Solanke quickly, there could be a problem.
Yeah, they squeeze on Arsenal, and what makes them very effective as an attacking outfit, if shots get blocked or there's half clearances, there's almost a dome around, isn't there, from 30 yards out where they sustain the attacks. But the other side of that is if you squeeze bodies on, Solanke, Semenya have got a little bit of room on the counter.
Is that a Star Wars reference, a defensive shield? I know it's May the 4th.
Yeah, Star Trek, actually.
No. It's May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day.
Okay.
No.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
No. Here is Arsenal's Jedi, Ødegaard, on this near side, trying to weave a bit of magic, turns the ball around. There's a clash of head, actually. I don't think it's a clash of heads. I think there is a clash of some sort. It may well be that it's a clash of heads. Saka is down on the halfway line. The play had continued, and two players on halfway. Saka needing some treatment, and the other one on the floor on this near side, I think, is it Cook on this near side who's gone down? I'm not entirely sure who's gone down. I think it is. It's Lewis Cook on this near side. Both of them collided. I'm not necessarily sure that there was a head injury to Cook, but
there was two independent injuries there. Both players have gone down, so you think that they've collided with each other. They actually haven't. Cook's gone down, and his head was so loose, he's banged his head right on the turf as he's gone down. And then obviously an independent sort of clash as well for Saka afterwards.
Yeah, and both teams have stopped and taken on fluids and had a little bit of instruction from their managers. Both managers who know each other very well, actually. They played in the same team when they were kids because they come from the same area of the Basque region. They were born 3 months apart in 1982, and they dress the same. If you look at them, they're wearing the same clothes today, all in black. And
maybe there's a tailor in the Basque region that fits them out.
Yes, their team was called Antihuaco.
What was it called?
Antihuaco. They played together in San Sebastian when they were children. Javi Alonso actually played for them as well.
They must have had a fair old side then.
Yeah, not too bad. And these two actually played together in the Spanish under-21 side as well. Yeah. They're back on their feet again, Saka and Cook, and about to come on, and we're about to get an uncontested drop ball. Saka is actually upset. He thinks he was fouled by Cook, and he is actually giving him a little bit of a dressing down as a result of that. He's saying he got a kick on the leg. He's pulled his left stocking down towards his ankle. His right one is pulled up right across his knee. So it's cutting an odd fashion statement. And we're back underway. These two players are still off, though, watching from the sidelines as Partey picks it right side of the centre circle into White, and then Havertz, who gets it back to Gabriel. He's about 5 yards in front of the centre circle. He pushes it wide. Tomiyasu takes it on. Tight to the touchline far side is Leandro Trossard, who's got 15 goals this season for Arsenal. Clip forward for Havertz. Down the left channel, first time hit. Saved by the goalkeeper. Comes back to Rice. It's blocked once again by Zabanyi this time, and cleared out from the box by the Bournemouth defence. But Arsenal peppering that goal away to our right-hand side. Still not made a breakthrough. 0-0, 13 minutes gone. Solanke trying to escape on the halfway line. He left a little bit on Trossard, who pinched the ball and runs out to the far side and does a brilliant job in getting Arsenal back on the front foot and curtailing the threat of any Bournemouth counter-attack.
It's absolutely vital there by Trossard, because Solanke was in the process of getting his head up and trying to find Kluivert, I think.
Justin Kluivert, who I read actually this week, has now scored more goals in the Premier League than his dad. Although his dad was only around for a little while. Another clash, this time involving Ryan Christie and Kai Havertz. We're just getting a replay of the Havertz effort, which came over his shoulder on the left-hand side of the area, and he wrapped his foot around it beautifully to get a volley towards goal, and it was saved. Yeah. Well, we played 14 minutes, and everybody inside the Emirates Stadium is standing to pay tribute to Daniel Anjorin. It's a tribute inspired by the fans to recognise the passing of the 14-year-old who was killed in a samurai sword attack in Hainault last week. An incredibly poignant moment. There is a banner which has been raised by the front of the stand away to our right-hand side. That end of the ground is now called the clock end. R.I.P. Daniel. I noticed that the family were considered when they were talking about making this tribute, and that they've put a GoFundMe page together and they've already raised over £115,000 for the family. But nothing will soothe their pain at this time, and we send them all the very best. Daniel Angerin's team Arsenal looking to try and win the title for the first time in 20 years. Ball out of play on the near side. Right, White to take it, throws it into Saliba. It's collected by Partey, and then on the halfway line Arsenal trying to come forward. Havertz back to Saliba once again. Straight into the challenge was Lewis Cook in midfield for Bournemouth. He's had a very good season as Lewis Cook this campaign. Played in Bournemouth's only ever win against Arsenal. It's his 36th appearance of the season. He's been touted for big things again, Lewis Cook. He is an England international. He played for Gareth Southgate against Italy in 2018. This is Partey out towards the near side, collected by Ødegaard. When you think that England have got so many problems in that midfield area, you wonder whether or not it's a surprise that Gareth hasn't looked at him again.
Well, listen, I'm sure, especially with Bournemouth's form being so good at the moment, he'll have people everywhere looking.
Here is Saliba out to Ødegaard on the near side. Arsenal keeping possession and moving up to the halfway line. It's played forward towards the left and then out towards the far side, where it's collected by Trossard. Space for Tomiyasu, left edge of the area, into the box now trying to feed Havertz. Oh, his final pass just wasn't good. And again, Cook was there, right place, right time to nab the ball and then start a Bournemouth counter-attack. And Solanke has got the better of Gabriel, who did have control of it. Now he's trying to cut in field. Saliba has stopped him in his tracks. Well, it looked like Gabriel initially dealt with the threat of Dominic Solanke, but then he just took his eye off the ball. Solanke nabbed it, and there was a real problem for the Arsenal defence. Saliba came to the rescue.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've been a little bit disappointed with Solanke. He's had a couple of moments where he could have linked attacks and whatever, and players have come and taken it off him, Trossard being one of those. And that was a one-on-one scenario. He should be at least getting a finish away, I believe. Admittedly, you've got to beat Gabriel and Saliba, which is no easy task.
Saka, near side for Arsenal. 0-0 the score. They've had lots of opportunities so far, Arsenal, but not made the breakthrough. There has been the brief encounter of a threat going the other way. Here's Saliba, played in by Saka. Twist, turn, shoots. Saved by the goalkeeper, Travers. Comes back to Trossard. His volley's over the bar. Well, Saliba found himself in the unfamiliar position of right wing on the underlap. Played in by Saka. Saka's ball was beautiful through the legs of Ouattara. And then Saliba chopped back in on his left foot to strike the ball straight at the legs of Travers, who made a save.
I'll tell you what, Arsenal are getting in behind Bournemouth in these wide areas far too easily. I think we've had 2 saves by the goalkeeper now and 6 blocks by defenders, and you can't sustain the stats like that without conceding eventually.
In the Championship, no goals in any of the major games that matter. Birmingham 0, Norwich 0, Ipswich 0, Huddersfield 0, Leeds 0, Southampton 0, Leicester 0, Blackburn, who have got only an outside chance of relegation 0, Plymouth trying to stay up 0, Hull trying to get into the playoffs 0, Sunderland safe 0, Sheffield Wednesday want to be safe 0, West Brom 0, Preston 0. West Brom trying to get into the playoffs. Maybe it'd be a problem for Leeds in just a few moments. I'm getting an indication that Southampton may have gone in front there. Saka down the right side, moving into the box, goes on the outside, looks to twist, turn, left-footed drive into the near post, saved by the goalkeeper again. How haven't Arsenal broken the deadlock here?
Yeah, as I say, the efforts at the goalkeeper that have got beyond the defenders have been pretty standard and straight at him, but the blocks have been the one that's been so impressive at the moment. But Arsenal find it so easy to get beyond on a one-on-one situation or beyond by just running.
That means that Birmingham, Huddersfield, Rotherham relegated, and good news for Ipswich because Southampton has scored away at Leeds, the only team that can catch them. So it's Southampton 1, Leeds 0 at Elland Road. Ipswich, as it stands, promoted to the Premier League. Here is Saka, deep to the far post with the corner. Header from Rice off the line again, this time by Travers. How have they not scored, Arsenal? 20 minutes in. They've had so many efforts on the Bournemouth goal, but the Cherries will not be crushed.
Well, these games are horrible because I know if you're in a red shirt playing out there at the moment, you're thinking, how haven't we scored? And the longer the game goes on, listen, they can't sustain this and not score a goal, that is for sure. It takes my mind back. I was Manchester City manager taking on Sam Allardyce's Bolton team at the City of Manchester. We hit the woodwork 6 times, lost 1-0.
How did that make you feel?
Brilliant, really good. And unemployed.
21 gone, 79% possession, 9 attempts on goal. Only two off on target, allegedly, but I'm a little bit sceptical about that. A foul on Ødegaard, just short of the centre, the D, and that's going to be a yellow card for Alex Scott, who perpetrated the foul.
Yeah, Trossard sort of rode the first, well, I think it was the one for the booking, carried on with a heavy limp, and then another one coming, just to make sure he was going to be grounded.
Yep, that's the first booking of the game for Alex Scott.
But how would you say, if you're Arteta now, you'd be delighted with the way your team have played? They've been, the bulk of it, in and around Bournemouth's penalty box, but there's been 1 or 2 scenarios where Bournemouth have got the ball and have broken that you think, there's a warning sign there.
Yeah. To be honest, at this moment in time, I'd be so confident that Arsenal were going to get in front. I'd be more worried about them just sustaining this pressure. But there's always a threat.
Yep.
Bournemouth has scored in almost every single game this calendar year, so you would expect them to get on the score sheet. They have done in 13 consecutive away games in the Premier League, and that's a record that they've broken for the first time. This is the Arsenal free kick, though, and Ødegaard is going to drip it over the top towards Tomiyasu, who sends it back, and Partey skies it. Didn't get over it inside the 18-yard box. It was good work by Tomiyasu, actually, because he had to really stretch to get that header back across the face of goal from Ødegaard's delivery. He did brilliantly to find Partey, and Partey just snatched at it.
Yeah, it was absolutely certain what Ødegaard done. Shaped his body to potentially threaten the goalkeeper up and down over the wall, but you knew that he was just going to stand one up at the far post. 3 big uns for Arsenal coming in at the far post against 3 little uns of Bournemouth.
Bournemouth playing out from the back, trying to get up the field. 0-0 is the score. They'll be scratching their heads as to how that is the case, as well as Arsenal. Saka wins it halfway. Ødegaard takes over. Back into the middle of the park, and now Partey forward. Out towards the right-hand side. He's got Saka going on a run. It's lifted over to him. He's timed his run perfectly. He's in behind the defence. He gets the byline and then plays it against Ouattara. And I think maybe the offside flag had gone up anyway, just prior to that. And it's going to be a free kick to Bournemouth. Developments in the Championship where Leeds have equalised. That goal for Leeds means that as it stands still, Ipswich will be promoted. That's not going to be enough for Leeds. They need to win their game. Now, the way things are shaping up in the Championship, Leeds will only be promoted if they win and Ipswich lose tonight. Southampton, who are experiencing their first season outside the Premier League since 2011-12, are already in the playoffs. They will be in the playoffs. Ipswich want to be promoted. They haven't been in the top flight since 2002, but they've spent 192 days in the top 2 this season. So Kieran McKenna's team will feel as if they deserve to get promoted, but they may have to make sure they don't lose today. Here is Ødegaard poking the ball to Havertz, bit of space inside the penalty area. He's nudged off the ball. Referee gives a free kick against him for an over-aggressive nudge on Zabarnyi.
Yeah, correct decision, referee. Well done. Havertz sort of left the ball and just barged into the defender in the hope that I think the referee would have given a penalty or just free up a bit of space, but I think it was a correct decision.
He did use his arm. It wasn't just a shoulder barge. He sort of levered him off the ball, didn't he? Kai Havertz. And David Coote very quick to give the free kick in the direction of Bournemouth. 25 gone. 0-0. Talksport live at the Emirates Stadium. Talksport 2 comes from Portman Road this lunchtime, where they are expecting a celebratory atmosphere at full time. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton. I wonder if Dean Ashton's going to get involved in that. He'll get his hood up and get out of there quickly, I think. as a former Norwich player. They expect to be in the playoffs, although I did bump into a Norwich fan before the game who was pretty comfortable about it. And I said, well, you never know. There could be a 7-goal swing. Don't talk it up, they said. Don't talk it up. It could happen. I think they'll be all right. Ball down the right side. West Brom, the others, trying to make sure they remain in the playoff places in the Championship today. It's been already a thrilling season. Looks like a thrilling conclusion. The playoff semi-finals and final live on Talksport, only on Talksport. Next Sunday we've got a mammoth show, including 2 semi-finals from the EFL playoffs, which I must admit I'm very much looking forward to. Here's Cook back to the centre and Zabani via Senesi. They come forward here, Bournemouth, up into the middle of their own half. Arsenal, who have had several opportunities to open the scoring here, block shots and saves by Travers, which have ultimately not gone in, and that's why we're still goalless. Here's Rice, though. Another swashbuckling run by the England man. Again, his arms by his side and his chest puffed out as he strides towards the edge of the box. He feeds Trossard, whose ball is inaccurate to Ødegaard, but Bournemouth conspire to give it back to him anyway. Partey takes over, quick feet. Rice again. And Arsenal keep the pressure on inside opposition territory. 27 gone. Ødegaard manipulates the ball out to this near side, and outside of the left foot ball that finds Saka. Saka infield to Partey. Bit of room to get the shot away. Takes a step, then does shoot. Saved down low by Travers and put behind by Adam Smith, and it's out for a corner.
I'm finding it really difficult to quantify Bournemouth's performance, really. They've been absolutely battered, and the stats are so against them. It's quite incredible, and they just seem to be rolling along and rolling their luck. It's one of those games, Sam, that if Arsenal get 1, you could see them getting 5. But they've got to get 1 first.
Well, Arsenal often fast starters, and they've certainly made a fast start here. They get on top of you quickly. They want to set their stall out. And they have seen actually crisper passing and cleaner passing than last week's North London derby already in this game. But their weapon across North London was from set pieces, and Declan Rice is preparing this corner from the far side, the left, in towards the near post. It's away by Christie, loops on the edge of the penalty area but comes back to Ødegaard. Gabriel is in an advanced position on this right side. Christie is tenaciously chasing him, and then he wants a free kick there, Gabriel. The linesman on this near side did not give it, but Gabriel stopped as if he should just have one, and David Coote gave him it.
Well, modern day football, that is, I'll referee the game. That is the mentality of players. Yes, there was a slight tug on him, but well, there you go. Technically it was a foul, probably.
But what happened to play to the whistle?
He's got his own.
That'll be the next thing, 28 gone. Saka to take the free kick from the right-hand side. Bournemouth have won their last 2 games to 0. And they were a real handful in the first half against Brighton, but then Brighton had a lot of the possession in the second half. It's been all Arsenal in this first 29 minutes here. Saka to take the free kick down the right side of the area. Left-footed ball deep towards the far post, which is over the top of Travers' head. He'll allow that to go beyond him. And it's out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. The clouds come over as we go into the second quarter of the game. And 1 or 2 of the restless Arsenal fans decide that now's the time to go in search of some refreshment from the concession stands behind us here in the lower tier of the Emirates Stadium. Ødegaard, he's all over Senesi like a rash and almost emerged with the ball. Senesi struggling to get it clear, kicks it against David Coote. And the referee has to blow the whistle and give an uncontested drop ball. And Senesi, I think, is delighted with that because he was being hounded by the Norwegian.
Yeah, he certainly was. I mean, Bournemouth are playing out from the back with a real air of composure about them. But I'm not convinced at the moment by what they're doing, I've got to say.
Ball cleared by Bournemouth up towards Clivert, who hasn't got into the game since the early part of the match. In fact, none of their forwards have really. And Saka is putting pressure on Wataru, who's going back to his own goal in the left fullback position. Goal for Stoke. Stoke 1, Bristol City 0. Inconsequential, really, as is the goal at the New York Stadium in Rotherham, where Rotherham have taken the lead against Cardiff. This is not inconsequential, though. Wes Burns for Ipswich Town has scored for Kieran McKenna's team. The Tractor Boys 1-0 up against Huddersfield. And that will mean a return, if it stays like that, to the Premier League for the first time since 2002. Here is Cliver on this near side. On to Ouattara, who shrugs off White, twists him, then goes back the other way, moves to the edge of the box. Solanke with clean feet, back to Ouattara. Plays the ball out to Adam Smith, far side the right, and now a chance for Semenyo to attack. He tries to fend off the advances of Trossard, comes centrally, but Arsenal defend really well, get men behind the ball, get into their shape, and that stops really any progression from Bournemouth and any threat to the Arsenal goal.
Yeah, Bournemouth just playing like a team that have got nothing to win, nothing to lose, really, aren't they? Just out there enjoying their football.
It's kind of true, really, isn't it?
Well, it's exactly where they're at.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to get European football, mainly because Chelsea play West Ham and Manchester United play Newcastle. That's one of the reasons. There are only a couple of games left for Bournemouth after today. Saliba steps in front of Cliver. A chance to counter-attack now. Saka plays it against Alex Scott, who wants to stop that from going out for a throw-in and does successfully do that. Andoni Iraola just trying to calm him down on the near touchline. Goes back to Senesi. And Arsenal, who have had so many opportunities, will keep looking up at that scoreboard and hope that they can get back on the front foot again. Arsenal just having to defend for the first time in the game, really, and are spending a small period without possession of the football for the first time in the game.
Yeah, it's almost as though they've not actually had to defend, they just haven't got the ball. Because I don't really think that Bournemouth are looking to go anywhere, just running the clock down almost how it looks.
Well, Gabriel's won it back and he had more time than he realised there, and he turned and just swiped it out towards the near side, and that was a little bit ungainly, and as a result there was a few groans and grisly moments from some of the fans down in front of us. I was speaking to an Arsenal fan who came up to me a little bit earlier, wanted to chat about their season, and he actually was sort of being quite positive about it, really. And I said to him, I was asked who I would vote for Manager of the Year, and I said probably Arteta, because I think the achievement of bringing the team back and being better this year, despite the setback they had last year, I think is pretty impressive. Bearing in mind last season they were only expected to get into the top four and took Manchester City to task, and now they've done it again. I think that's impressive, really.
Well, what if I said to you that Pep's going to win the double this year, having won all three last year? That's just as impressive when you've won everything. To go again and win everything again.
But I think the difference is one you expect, one you don't. But you are right. I will bow to the fact that being a champion for the fourth time in 4 seasons would be not only historic but an incredible thing to do.
It would be amazing. It really would. But listen, look, what do we know? We've just got opinions.
Listen, that's okay. We can discuss it. That's what we're here for. 12 minutes to go before half-time, and it's still 0-0. And it's Talksport with Super 6. Predict 6 correct scores from this weekend's action. You could win £250,000 without spending a penny. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. One back by White. Right side of the Arsenal half. Havertz pushes it forward to Ødegaard, who gets away from Scott, pokes it into the left channel inside the box now. Arsenal on the attack here with Declan Rice. And now Tomiyasu. Declan Rice has got it back again. And Bournemouth now have sprung into a shape trying to repel this Arsenal attack, and they've defended really well here. Andoni Iraola's side, who have kept a couple of clean sheets recently. And they're always quite willing to surrender a bit of possession, Bournemouth. They did that last week, then they try and hit you on the counter-attack every now and again. They haven't done that with any success so far, but they have managed to keep Arsenal somehow at bay. 34 minutes on the clock. Trossard picks it up. Goes backwards, then forwards, then swirls away from Solanke's pressure. Partey takes it in the middle of the Bournemouth half, and now Saliba comes forward. He, in turn, fends the ball out to the right-hand side, just feeds Saka. Saka gets it from White after giving it to him briefly. Runs towards the edge of the 18-yard box, left by Trossard. The return from Ødegaard didn't quite come through. Saka's effort then balloons into the air, and it'll be caught by Travers.
Once again, Arsenal just having all the ball in and around the box, looking for that little threaded pass, bisecting the back line. On that occasion, Bournemouth shut all the doors available to Arsenal.
Goal for Middlesbrough, Borough 1, Watford 0. Goal for Sheffield Wednesday, which is massive news for Wednesday. Liam Palmer has scored the goal. As a result of that, Wednesday will be staying in the Championship. Promoted via the playoffs last year, they will be staying in the Championship. Ipswich promoted as it stands, 5 points clear of Leeds at this moment in time. Leeds, Southampton, Norwich and West Brom in the playoffs in the Championship, and Birmingham, Huddersfield and Rotherham will be going down. Goal for QPR in their game today. Not that it actually really matters in the context of the ups and downs, but they are in front. Here is Gabriel over on the left-hand side. 0-0 the score in the Premier League as Arsenal look to take a 4-point lead over Manchester City. But in order to do that, they have to win here. They've had the chances to have won 2 games, Stuart Pearce, already, and we've only played 35 minutes.
I've got to say, Sam, I've been a little bit disappointed with Bournemouth. I thought they were going to come out the blocks and be a real threat and whatever. And I don't know, they're almost playing in second gear. And Arsenal have absolutely dominated the game, dominated the stats. But Bournemouth have managed to get blocks and dealt with any dangers, really.
Saliba feeds Ødegaard. In turn, he nudges the ball out wide right towards Bukayo Saka. Then on to Ødegaard inside the area. Saka back to Ødegaard. Lovely little flick around the corner. Gets to the byline. Faced up by Ouattara. And then back to Ben White, who timed his run well. Into Saka. Fends it through the box and it comes off somehow. Havertz, it hit his standing foot. Goes behind. Eventually, the linesman has put his flag up on his near side, which I think we all thought was probably coming after Ben White made that dart towards the byline. But it just took a little bit of time.
This is the most obvious offside I think I've ever seen, and the linesman, everyone was sat there going, well, come on, put your flag up for goodness sake. I think even the Arsenal players stopped playing.
I think they might have used slightly more colourful language, Stuart, than that. Away by Travers from the goal kick. Bournemouth, who had a really tough start to the season. A lot was made of Iraola's record against the big teams when he was in Spain. Bournemouth actually have only taken 1 point from their 9 top-flight fixtures against teams in the top 5 this season. That came in a 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. Here's Ødegaard, ball delivered to Havertz, back post, heads it down. Here's Rice! Oh, he's missed the target. Well, it was almost a little bit like a classic centre-forward play from Havertz. He won the header, nodded it down, and Rice, like a well-timed number 8 running into the box, got on the end of it, but he flashed his shot beyond the far post, missing the target. It's a great opportunity, and it's only just a millimetre or so away from the left-hand upright from Declan Rice.
Well, all I can say, Sam, is you don't get much for 105 million these days. I cannot believe he's missed the target there. That's incredible. Great setup.
Here's Ødegaard, played over the top after they've given the ball away. Bournemouth playing out from the back, but he couldn't turn away from Ouattara, who gets something on the ball and then manages to clear to halfway. Solanke loses out to Partey. The ball's loose inside the Bournemouth half. Ødegaard's got it back, and so have Arsenal. 7 minutes to go before half-time. Oh, Deck was your mate.
Exactly, that's why I have to give him pointers like that. Sharpen his focus. Push the bar up.
Partey, bit of space. Decided to work it wide towards Tomiyasu. Out to the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Collected by Gabriel, then Saliba via Partey. Out wide to Ødegaard. Right side for Arsenal on the attack. A left-footed ball. Rice is coming underneath it. Travers does brilliantly. Comes out, and with the inside of his right forearm, manages just to get there ahead of Declan Rice and push the ball away to safety. Rice clatters into him. Free kick to Bournemouth away to our right-hand side. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 0. Talksport with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Manchester City versus Wolves live today. No contract with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Goal for Southampton. Leeds 1, Southampton 2. Will Smallbone with the goal. Homegrown Southampton talent. It means that Leeds falling further off the pace. Ipswich are going to be promoted.
Yeah, as I say, great ball in just then by Ødegaard, I've got to say. And Declan coming in, Travers has come out full stretch, Superman-esque, and got a really good punch on it.
Everton 2, Tottenham 2 in the WSL, a battle of the mid-table games today in the WSL. The action happens tomorrow live on Talksport 2. We've got a great coverage of the WSL tomorrow in key games. Here the ball is on the edge of the penalty area. 2 key games actually. Saka out towards the right. Havertz takes it on into the area, sets it back for Erdegaard. Poor ball. Come out by Lewis Cook, who is there to help defend. Kluivert wriggling out of a tight gap. Cook now back into Kluivert, who moves up the pitch for Bournemouth. Skips away from Partey with ease. Plays it in field. Can't quite get it into Solanke. It was pulled back for a foul there. I'm not entirely sure there was a foul there. And they were coming forward. But anyway, the free kick has been given to Bournemouth.
I've got to say, Sam, I'm finding this game really difficult to quantify on who's doing well and who isn't, because Bournemouth are nice and relaxed and composed, and it's we've got nothing on the game, and if we concede, we concede. That sort of blasé mentality, and Arsenal have almost dropped to their level slightly because they haven't scored.
Erdegaard taking it down and feeding Partey, who was adjudged to have made a foul there. I just didn't think it was. I just thought he got away from him, and once he got away from him, that was it. Play on. The referee had played the advantage. Just get on with it and stop the game. And now Erdegaard has speared ahead of Havertz. Havertz round the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's brought him down. Penalty. Well, Arsenal may well have needed a helping hand to breach the target. They may well have just got it from Mark Travers, who's pleading his innocence. Havertz was fed by Erdegaard. He went round the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper came out. There was some sort of contact, according to David Coote, and the penalty was given. Havertz got first contact, went round the goalkeeper. His trailing foot catches the leg of Travers. What will the VAR make of that? Stuart Pearce.
Well, and I know that Havertz has left his trailing foot there and probably more so skimmed it over the goalkeeper. In all honesty, if you're going to outlaw players going down cheaply, you don't give this as a penalty, but they will. They'll say that there was contact. Who initiated the contact? You tell me.
Well, Peter Banks is the VAR official who is looking at it, and it has gone to a check to see whether or not it is a penalty. Having gone past the goalkeeper there, Havertz, if he stays on his feet,
I wouldn't give that if I was a referee.
Can put the ball in the net. Why has he felt the necessity to go down in that circumstance?
Because he wanted a penalty. End of.
But he could have scored a goal.
Maybe. He's going wide of the target, recovering defender just behind the goalie. He would have done well to finish that off. And I know, as soon as he flicked it past the goalie, he's looking to go down cheaply, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, there was contact. So I think,
by who? Where is the statement?
Yeah, that's the big question. Who engenders the contact? And we've seen that. I think there was a Jota penalty a bit like that. There was a Salah penalty a bit like that earlier in the season, where there's a confusion over who the contact was engendered by. But I think they're going to give it here.
Yeah, I do as well. They'll hide behind that clear and obvious scenario. Personally, if I don't
think it's a penalty. I actually don't think it's a penalty, but I think they are going to give it as a penalty.
If I was in the VAR booth, I'd say to the referee, go and have a look for yourself.
Well,
That's what I would do.
Havertz thinks that the penalty's been ruled out. It hasn't. He's just gone crackers. Can't believe that it hasn't been given. It has now definitely been given. And Bukayo Saka, who has taken 9 penalties this season and scored 8 of them, is going to have the opportunity to get his 20th goal of the season and put Arsenal into a lead here. He's placed it down on the penalty spot. Mark Travers, who was adjudged to have fouled Kai Havertz after a lengthy VAR review, stands in the goal at the clock end. It's Saka to take it against Travers for 1-0 to the Arsenal. He takes 3 strides back, looks up, waits, takes a deep breath. This could be crucial for Arsenal and their continuing title hopes. Now he stutters, he runs up and slips it into the far corner, beautifully, elegantly, and with calmness and composure. And Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's star boy, hits his 20th goal of the season, and Arsenal hit the front. It's Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, I think at this stage you would probably turn around and say, with Arsenal's pressure, efforts at goal, all of those type of things, they deserve the lead. It could be one of those games where the floodgates could open now. I think Bournemouth have only been in second gear, composed, and they've been fortunate not to concede earlier than this because of some good defending, but as it stands at the moment, crucial time to score.
Yeah, just before half-time, Arsenal lead by 0-0. Bukayo Saka with his 20th goal of the campaign. The score is Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0. On Talksport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. In the Championship, Wednesday double their lead. Sunderland 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. They're going to stay up Sheffield Wednesday under Brighton right now. Goal for Cardiff. Rotherham 1, Danny Roll, sorry, I've got the Huddersfield who've got Brighton right there, isn't it? Goal for Cardiff, Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1. Goal for Plymouth, Joe Edwards with the goal. Plymouth 1, Hull 0. Bad news for Hull, trying to sneak into the playoffs on the final day. And Coventry 0, QPR 1. That's the latest scoreline. You're up to date in the Championship. At the moment, Ipswich are going up, 5 points clear of Leeds, Southampton, Norwich and West Brom in the playoffs, and Birmingham, Huddersfield and Rotherham all going down to League One. Arsenal going 4 points clear at the top of the table. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, it is, and that would have put the Arsenal minds at rest slightly. As I say, they've had all the play, all the efforts, but not really threatened to sort of score as such, I don't think. But they've got...
Well, the goalkeeper's had to make a couple of saves, hasn't he?
He has, pretty straightforward. But they've got in behind the Bournemouth backline too easily, haven't they, Sam? Probably 3 or 4 times at least, and one of those was for the penalty.
I think they deserve their lead. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But I think that first 25 minutes was like a blitzkrieg, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And then, obviously, you're not going to be able to sustain that for 45 minutes. Bournemouth came into it for about 2 or 3 minutes where they dominated possession for a little while. And then Arsenal found a way through, and that's where they are now. They're in command of the game, and they know that if it stays like this, the pressure goes on Manchester City at 5:30 when they take on Wolverhampton Wanderers, who had the temerity to beat Manchester City earlier in the season. Ball down the right-hand side. Kluivert is found. It's going to be a free kick to Bournemouth. All of a sudden, the noise levels inside the Emirates Stadium go up. There's a bit more of a party atmosphere. Scarves being twirled above heads. And I think the Arsenal fans are certainly enjoying their season, aren't they? I mean, quite rightly too.
I think you've got, the brand of football's been good, the results have been good, why wouldn't you?
The ball sent back by Zabarnyi with a degree of keenness that I'm not sure that Mark Travers was particularly fond of. He dealt with it, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, and then cleared it to the halfway line. This is Talksport. Here on the left-hand side is Ouattara. Ouattara trying to nudge it forward. And it's cut out by Partey and put towards this near side. 1 minute still to go of added time at the end of the first half. Saliba takes it down and then tries to turn it back infield. Gives it to Gabriel, and they'll build from the back here. I think Mikel Arteta will be pretty pleased with the way they stuck at their task here. And Havertz again involved in the goal. And, you know, a lot of people were talking about him today in the build-up to the game. And he's certainly proved his worth over the course of the last few months of the season.
Well, it's really good movement to induce a penalty from the goalkeeper. There's no doubt about that. And there was one just before that, wasn't there, when he got his shot away. Yes. So great movement in behind into that sort of inside left channel.
Yeah, whether you think it was a penalty or not is a different matter, but his movement in the build-up to it was very good. 1-0 to Arsenal. Cook's got the ball back after Odegaard couldn't escape from the midpoint of his own half. It goes wide to Adam Smith, right side, and then Semenyo takes it on. He's an inch or so in from the left touchline, and now it's with Adam Smith once again, and that's the end of the first 45 minutes, and the goal coming just before the break from Bukayo Saka, his 20th of the season. Yet another penalty for him, and it was very well taken. Mark Travers adjudged to have brought down Kai Havertz, and after a VAR review, which divided opinion, it must be said, Arsenal have the front. They are gunning for the title, and even if they don't win it, they would have given it absolutely everything. They're heading 4 points clear for now, thanks to Saka's goal. At the break, Arsenal lead by 1-0.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much indeed. Yes, it was a dominant display from Arsenal. The majority of the possession, majority of the shots on target as well. Bournemouth really failed to lay a glove, but Arsenal failed to take the early advantage at Stuart. It's a good job they got the penalty, but should it have been one?
For me, no. I think if you're going to outlaw sort of diving of players, which obviously has gone out the window now since the first month of the season, clever forward play. He's gone past the goalkeeper, he's left his trailing leg and induced some contact. For me, it wouldn't be a penalty. I would have probably sent the goalkeeper, the referee over at the screen to have another look at it. But
by the letter of the law...
What is the letter of the law?
What is the letter of the law?
Who kicked who? I just don't know who kicked who.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, you've seen them given. Was it a clear and obvious error? Probably not. They can hide behind the wording of that. It's a penalty. The amount of pressure that they've had that's built up and built up and built up, that you could see a goal coming in the second half. It's one of those games, could end up 4 or 5-0.
Yeah. Why do you think Arsenal couldn't make the most of the early dominance? Do you think, was it nerves? Do you think that's coming into it now? Well,
listen, what more could they do, we would say? They missed some chances, and when I say they missed some chances, it was really good defending and blocking. Last gasp, full stretch, defenders getting legs in the way and stuff like that. If one of those skims off someone and goes in early doors, you know, the scoreline could be a little bit heavier against Bournemouth.
Bukayo Saka now with 16 Premier League goals. He's joint 7th in the stats alongside Jarrod Bowen, Phil Foden and Heung-min Son. Not bad company to keep, but it is the star boy Bukayo Saka who has given Arsenal the lead here at half-time at the Emirates against Bournemouth. They are 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League as things stand, so it's a huge 45 minutes coming up because they will want to keep that lead, but Bournemouth might have a say. Bournemouth, a team who have been in form so far this season. That's coming up after this.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal, so let's see who can shout Uno first.
Bring it on.
Yes. Ooh, no, a wild card. Right, yes, back in the game. Yes, ooh, no, I draw one card.
Uno. Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh, some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only, while stocks last.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate. Because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
When the kids eat us out of house and home, we just eat groceries from Sainsbury's.
Yeah, shopping's here. Give me those. Maxie's and that.
When do they leave home?
Get Sainsbury's, Asda and Co-op delivered for free. For groceries and everything else,
it's somebody's pay, just please.
Participate in stores. A minimum spend applies. Other charges apply. Subject to availability. See justeat.co.uk for details.
Hope there won't be any VAR delays today. Heard that rumour about their striker.
Can't wait to see what the pundits make of that booking. Looking forward to the match report on this one.
When it comes to football, never miss a story. Get the best news, opinion, interviews and gossip at thesun.co.uk. For the football lowdown every day, it's thesun.co.uk.
The Screwfix Bank Holiday event is now on. Make the most of the extra day off with unmissable deals. Like £30 off the Mountfield self-propelled petrol lawnmower. Now just $249.99. And save £10 on the DeWalt T-Stack tool storage system, now only $19.99. Shop bank holiday deals now, on the app at screwfix.com or in-store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until May 6, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Man City versus Wolves live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Game day. It's football to the max.
Into the corner, wonderful goal.
Game day exclusive
on Talksport.
You are listening to Game Day Exclusive with me, Reshmin Chowdhury, on TalkSport live from the Emirates. It's currently half-time here. It is Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0 as it stands. Arsenal 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Bukayo Saka with a penalty. Over on TalkSport 2, you will know that things are hotting up in the Sky Bet Championship, where it's also half-time. As it stands, Ipswich are going up. They'll be in the Premier League next season. As things stand, for the first time since 2002, they currently lead Huddersfield by 1-0 at Portman Road. Leeds, as it stands, are finishing third because they're trailing at Southampton by 2-1 at home at Ellen Road. West Brom currently goalless with Preston. Norwich goalless against Birmingham as well. So as it stands, they are also joining Leeds and Southampton in the playoff spots. Birmingham, meanwhile, though, will be going down as things stand. Plymouth lead Hull by 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday are leading 2-0 at Sunderland. Blackburn are currently goalless at champions Leicester. The point will also be enough to keep them safe. Elsewhere in the Sky Bet Championship, it's Coventry 0, QPR 2, Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0, Stoke 3, Bristol City 0, Rotherham 2, Cardiff 1, Swansea 0, Millwall 0. So plenty going on in the Championship. It is, of course, the last day of the season, so go straight over to TalkSport 2 if you want to keep up with all the goings on there, and there are plenty. But stay with us here on TalkSport if you want to know all that's going on in the Premier League. And at Turf Moor for Game Day Live for us today is Adrian Durham. It's Burnley against Newcastle United. Adrian, this is an interesting one. Burnley, you know, you've always talked about how they've sort of hit a bit of form towards the end, or they've, you know, strung some good results together.
Yeah.
Too little too late with Newcastle in town, or not?
No, I don't think so. And given Newcastle's away record, they've lost 10 away games. That's as many as Burnley. So their away record is shocking. Burnley are in a bit of form. 1 defeat in 8. They probably should have won at Man United last weekend. They got a draw. And I think this game is crucial in terms of mentality. If they can beat Newcastle, it'll give them the strength to go on. They could possibly be out of the bottom 3 as well, depending on what happens with Forest. So I think it's a big afternoon for Burnley. But they're playing some really good stuff. If they cut out stupid mistakes like Sander Berge giving the ball away for the goal last weekend, then they've got every chance of winning this, given Newcastle's shocking away record. But yeah, I think this is a big one here. There's not many 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon, but this is huge for Burnley. I think this is they want to make a statement this afternoon by winning this and saying, yeah, we are serious about getting out of trouble.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It really could go down to the wire. And with Luton not winning yesterday, Nottingham Forest have the advantage now.
Yeah, they do, and it's up to them to take that advantage. However, their form isn't good. It's a weird one, Forest, because I think they've got some really good players. I don't think they should be in the position they're in. I know there's been the points deductions, but I just think that they should be safe by now with the players that they've got. But they may well make it. Luton keep on battling, keep on scoring goals as well. So I think it's a fascinating battle down at the bottom. We know the Blades have gone and they're Nottingham Forest opponents today, so we'll see what happens. I must say something about the penalty, though. Honestly,
yeah.
I think Stuart Pearce has absolutely nailed it. Forget the letter of the law. What's common sense say? That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
What does common sense say? And here's the thing. Fans don't like VAR. So what can VAR do? Something to help the game? Yes, we'll try to eradicate diving. That was a simple decision. Use your brains, use your eyes, use your common sense. And that is not a penalty. But Arsenal deserve to be in front, though. They've dominated.
They deserve to be in front, but I echo that because we were watching the replays over and over on the screens, and it doesn't make any sense. It's pretty obvious that he's left his leg trailing, and he's trying
He slides his foot along the ground to make sure there's contact.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody... I haven't played the football to any level, but I've watched a lot of football. and anybody who's just taken an interest in the game can see that's a dive. So I don't get what VAR see that we're not seeing now. I don't get it.
Yeah, but as you say, Arsenal, with or without the penalty, they do deserve the lead. They didn't get it without the penalty, but they do certainly deserve the lead. And the last one you're watching at 3 o'clock, Brentford against Fulham. In Brentford, were in danger of being pulled into this relegation battle. They are safe now. And Fulham, with this indifferent form, it's hard to know which Fulham are going to turn up.
Isn't it? Yeah, 1 win in 6 for them. And you're absolutely spot on with them. They are some way above Brentford, who've had, by their standards, a disappointing season. Obviously, they'll look at Ivan Toney being out for half the season as a reason why they were so far down, and they're 16th in the table at the moment. But we forget as well that this is a local derby, just 4.5 miles between the two clubs. And I know that Thomas Frank took great joy and pleasure in beating Fulham last season. I can remember his press conference afterwards. So I think that in itself, there's nothing riding on it other than local pride, but that in itself will make it a fantastic and competitive game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just got to update here. There's been a late goal at the end of the first half in the Championship. West Brom lead Preston by 1-0, so they're comfortably going to be making the playoffs as it stands, especially because Hull City are losing at Plymouth. How good is this Championship race, Adrian?
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's just unreal, isn't it?
And even when this end of the regular season is done, you've got the playoffs as well. I think as it stands, it's going to be West Brom, Southampton and Norwich Leeds in the playoffs as things stand, but another 45 minutes to go. But that Ipswich story is something else. They'll make a film about that one day. Incredible.
They really should. They need Amazon Prime on that, don't they? Out of the 4 that go on to the playoffs, or the ones that are looking like going through to the playoffs, who's your pick?
Southampton. I think that he's meticulous, Russell Martin, and he will plan for opposition and games and situations in games to the very finest detail. And I think that easily off a little bit, he'll get them back intense, ready for the playoffs. And I do fancy Southampton to win the playoffs, but listen, my history with playoffs, supporting my club tells you.
We don't want to go there, Adrian.
Anything
we won't go there. Anything can happen. That is absolutely the case. Adrian, great to talk to you as always. Thank you. Enjoy Game Day Live. Adrian's going to be here from 2:30, following the conclusion of this game at the Emirates. But before the second half, we're going to continue to look ahead to today's Premier League action with Super 6.
The Talksport Match Predictor with Super 6. Play for free. Predict 6 correct scores for the chance to win £250,000. Get your entries in by 3 p.m. today with Super 6. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, we're going to discuss the games featured within Super 6. It's a free-to-play football game. You can win huge jackpots through your own knowledge. You just simply predict 6 correct scores to win. Yeah, it sounds simple. This week the jackpot is £250,000, and if you don't manage to get the 6 correct scores, there are more ways to win. A guaranteed 5K up for grabs every single round. Stu, we're going to quickly run through the final 3 games on our list. We're going to start where Adrian is, actually Turf Moor. Burnley hosting Newcastle United at 3 p.m. today. He's fancying Burnley to turn it on at home. What do you think?
Well, it's one of these games they need to win, and I honestly think they probably won't. I'm going for a 1-1.
Going for a 1-1. Okay, over 700,000 Super 6 players are backing Newcastle to claim all 3 points at Turf Moor. Meanwhile, at 3 o'clock today, Brentford against Fulham. The West London derby. What's your Super 6 prediction for that one?
Another one here. Both teams not on great form, but I think there'll be goals in it, and I've gone for a 2-2, Resh.
A 2-2, okay. Brentford were unbeaten in 5 before defeat to Everton last weekend, but over 450,000 Super 6 players are expecting them to bounce back with a win over Fulham. So that's going against your prediction. Finally, though, at 5:30 this evening, your old club, Manchester City, up against Wolves. Really vital one for Manchester City, of course. They need to win all their 4 remaining games. Do they?
I think so. I think they'll keep a clean sheet and win the game, do enough to win the game. So I've gone for a 2-0.
A 2-0 in this one. Okay, well, over 900,000 Super 6 players are expecting no slip-ups from Manchester City as they welcome Wolves to the Etihad. That's all thanks to Super 6. Thank you, Stu. Don't forget, Super 6 has set up its very own Talksport League. You can sign up on the Super 6 website or app using the code TALKS6. That is TALKS6. And you can also win £100 for topping the league every single round. Remember, to get your predictions in, you've got about an hour and a half. You've got to get them in by 3 p.m. today. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
The Talksport Match Predictor with Super 6. Play for free. Predict 6 correct scores for the chance to win £250,000. Get your entries in by 3 p.m. today with Super 6. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Well, here at the Emirates, we're getting ready for the second half. Mikel Arteta is taking a seat. Arsenal were out on the pitch very, very early. They're all currently in a huddle. The subs are also warming up, and the pitch inspection has just gone on a little bit longer. They're only just coming off the pitch as Bournemouth come on for this second half. They've switched ends, of course. Bournemouth now to our left, Arsenal directly in front of us to the right of the halfway line. And as we gear up for this second half, I'm going to hand you back to your commentary team, because it's a big second half for Arsenal. They're going to have to hold their nerve and see if Bournemouth can come back and do something in the second half, produce a little bit more from them that we were expecting. We thought this game might be a banana skin. Let's see if it lives up to that. 45 minutes to go, and a huge 45 minutes for Mikel Arteta and this Arsenal side, who are chasing that Premier League title. Time to hand you back to the commentary team as they almost kick off the second half. Stuart Pearce, but first Sam Matterface.
Well, at half-time I was investigating the incident with Bukayo Saka and why he was so upset during that collision on halfway, and having reviewed the footage and looked at some of the images, Stuart Pearce, I can understand why he was so upset. And VAR did check Ryan Christie's challenge on halfway on Bukayo Saka, which does appear to see him leave a straight foot with studs on the shin of the Arsenal man who scored the opening goal. But they deemed that the challenge was reckless but not dangerous, and therefore not a red card.
Well, as I say, the still that we looked at, certainly at half-time, looked pretty bad, and obviously left a fair scar on Saka's shin. So it wasn't the prettiest of challenges, that is for sure.
Not the prettiest of challenges, that must be said. We'll see what happens in the aftermath of that, whether or not there's any PGMOL discussion. I know that Arsenal contacted the PGMOL earlier in the season to sort of ask about protection for some of their players and why they felt that they weren't getting enough of it. I think that would have been enhanced by Bukayo Saka's leg. He has got like a cut on his shin as a result of that. Anyway, we're underway at the start of the second half. Bournemouth shooting from left to right towards the clock end in those black and yellow half jerseys, attacking the goal away to our right. Might be navy, actually. Semenyo has got hold of it. Christie bends it into the box. It's over the top of the onrushing Kluivert, and will scoop behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And it remains 1-0 to the Arsenal. And Arsenal, who have got Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu as the back four. Ødegaard, Partey and Rice in midfield. Saka, Havertz and Trossard going forward. And then Bournemouth, who have Travers in goal, Smith, Senesi, Zabarnyi and Ouattara. Semenyo, Christie, Cook and Kluivert, with Scott playing just behind Solanke in attack. And Raya will kick under pressure from Solanke, high upfield, trying to beat the press and look for Havertz. Havertz, who won the penalty. I think if you're a neutral, there was a little bit of discussion about whether or not it might have been a little bit soft, but if you are an Arsenal fan, and Perry Groves is an Arsenal fan, he came bounding up to me at half-time and said, "Can't believe there's any discussion about it. It's definitely a penalty," he said.
Definitely a penalty, and someone should have got sent off in a Bournemouth shirt.
He actually said that as well.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, obviously. But you know, he's not known for being massively into Arsenal, Perry Groves. He'll join us on the Sunday session tomorrow. We've got to give him a bit of a telling off actually tomorrow. More details on that tomorrow, I think. Arsenal's record against Bournemouth pretty dominant. They've won 11 of their last 14 encounters, but they usually score at high-scoring affairs. Arsenal unbeaten in 7 of the most recent Premier League meetings as Ipswich go 2-0 in front. And Amari Hutchinson, on loan from Chelsea and former Arsenal player, has scored the goal, which surely now will seal promotion to the Premier League. They'll be back in the big time, the Tractor Boys, ploughing a furrow to Old Trafford, to the Emirates, to Stamford Bridge, the Etihad Stadium, St James's Park. And it's been a long road back, hasn't it, for Ipswich Town? But good luck to them. They're about to be promoted. 1-0 here to Arsenal. Hope to take a further lead in the Premier League ahead of the 5:30 kickoff. And Rice has won the ball in front of Christie, edge of the area. Havertz gets away. A chance for Saka to shoot. And he had a lot of time, more time than he thought. He hit it first time. It was saved by Travers down low to his left. Maybe he should have done better with that, Bukayo Saka.
There's no maybes about it. He swept his foot at it, where you really got to take a touch and unload more power or get more power and placement in it. Havertz has gone in the box. I think he's waiting for more contact. Oh, and I tell you what, the room that he had there, he really could have put this game to bed.
He did have a lot of space, didn't he? Semenyo into the penalty area, cleared away by Thomas Partey. And up towards this near touchline. Oh, brilliant from Declan Rice, wrestling for the ball and almost won it back. It spills to Scott, who comes forward, runs into his own teammate Christie. Christie gets it back to Lewis Cook, but it could have been 2-0 to Arsenal there. Bukayo Saka had a great chance.
He certainly did. You just look at Declan Rice. When he chases you down, you spend too long on the ball, he hunts you down so quickly.
Here is Senesi winning it back off Havertz into the box, trying to chip the ball towards the goal away on this near side and cleared away. Have a look at that Saka chance again. It was a really good opportunity, and he had so much room inside the box there. It was well won by Rice, given to Havertz. Havertz gave it to Saka. He sort of rushed it. I mean, I'm not going to say the old cliche, acres of space, because I was listening to a podcast this week with Alistair Campbell, and he was saying it's one of the cliches that really irritates him more than anything else, because you can never have acres of space. It's only a couple of metres, which is true. So we'll get rid of that out of the lexicon. But he did have a lot of space and time.
What if you're living sort of agricultural Ipswich and you actually have acres of space?
But it never happens on a football pitch, was his
no.
point.
No.
You know, but listen, we can still use it if you want, if you like it.
Indeed.
You know, we don't have to do as he says. Ball picked up by Ødegaard onto Havertz and then swept out to the near side, and it's collected by Ødegaard again, who turns infield, goes one way, then the other, then pokes it to the left. It's given to Rice. Rice now with a chance to get into the penalty area. Doesn't do so. Tomiyasu gives it back to him. And back down the left side of the area, he looks for more space. And Bournemouth have flexed back into shape without the ball, trying to ensure that Arsenal don't have an easy route to their goal. Here's Thomas Partey, forward to Havertz. Havertz trying to turn, lovely turn, and shoots to the far corner. It's a fingertip save by Travers, who turns it round the post, and Ouattara stops it from going out for a corner. And then Cook trying to clear, but they're putting the squeeze on them again, Arsenal. And Solanke is fouled eventually by Saliba, and a free kick is given as a respite for Bournemouth away to our left. Good chance.
I think Saliba's inherited bold stroke, Keown stroke, Adams' shirt from him, because you don't see this from centre halves anymore. Ball played up to the centre forwards, they normally give him a yard of space. Not him. He gets touch tight, and he is an irritation to play against, I'm sure.
Well, I was with Martin Keown at Stamford Bridge on Thursday for Talksport, and we were talking about his career, and he was talking about that, you know, how centre half he was a rash. He would not leave you alone. He was all over you. He was horrible to play against, and that was his job. He felt that was his job. He doesn't think that they do that as much anymore, but certainly Saliba,
he's a throwback, and that's how you should defend. That is the yardstick for good defensive play.
White back to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu to Gabriel, clipping it forward up towards Havertz. Havertz takes it beautifully out of the sky. Infield it goes to Trossard, who's firmly a fan favourite now, I think, Kai Havertz. Partey getting away. Ødegaard thought he was fouled. Referee has allowed play on. Scott has fed Solanke. Solanke into the area. Saved down low by David Raya, the Golden Glove winner. And he stops a chance for Solanke. They're very unhappy, the Arsenal fans, about the referee not giving a foul on Saka. They've already seen on Ødegaard, sorry. They've already seen Saka fouled in the first half, and they thought they should have seen a free kick there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pirouette in there by Ødegaard, and we just saw an example there of what happens if you don't get tight on the centre forward.
Solanke, bit of room inside the area. Partey coming back and making sure that he got something on the ball. You were saying about the defending of Havertz?
Yeah, just saying there was a great example when you don't get tight to a centre forward, how they can bring players into the game.
Ødegaard has released the German again. Saka coming into the ball. The challenge comes in from behind, and the referee says that Cook's challenge was a clean one, and they rescue the ball inside their own 18-yard area, Bournemouth, and manage to keep Arsenal at bay again. It's only 1-0. It feels like a performance that probably warrants more goals than this for Arsenal.
Well, and the fans around us are desperate for this second goal because it's on a knife edge and they know they can't drop points today.
Well, Bournemouth's only win in the last 15 matches against Arsenal in all competitions came at home in January 2018. Callum Wilson and Jordan Ibe turned the game on its head 4 minutes after Hector Bellerin put Arsenal in front. The first meeting of the two came in the League Cup in October 1987. They avoided each other for a very long time. Weird that their first ever meeting was 1987. Arsenal won 3-0 at Highbury. Sir Peregrine Groves was in the team that day. Kevin Richardson, Alan Smith, Michael Thomas who got the goals. Who were the managers, do you remember? 1987?
George Graham.
Correct.
Ooh. Here.
Bournemouth manager.
Yeah. Harry Redknapp.
Correct.
Oh, I've come good.
Well done.
It took all season, but I've come good.
What was the number one album on that day in October 1987?
Kylie.
No.
Best of.
Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night. Here is Alex Scott down the left. It's a very good album, actually. Big Love, Everywhere, Little Lies. Here is Senesi, edge of the area, joining the attack. Now Partey picks it up, sends it forward. It's cut out, turned over by Zabarnyi. Bournemouth have it back down the left-hand side, approaching the area. Kluivert goes on the outside of Ben White, then stops the ball, turns it back, decent cross, flicked away from Gabriel, comes to Alex Scott, hits it into the ground, bounces up into the arms of David Raya. And there's a gentleman there in a waterproof grey jacket. He's been an Arsenal fan for a while by the looks of the grey hair on his head. Gets up, tries to get the team to calm down, knowing that they're having to ride a little bit of pressure in the last few moments here.
They won't be able to calm down White. Stays 1-0, Sam, that is for sure.
Well, they deserve more than that. They haven't got more than that, and that is the source of any anxiety that is inside the stadium. But they're playing well enough to expect to earn a greater victory as the game goes on. Ipswich coming up to join the Premier League as it stands in the Championship on the final day on Talksport 2. Here's Rice, edge of the Bournemouth penalty area, sprays it to Ødegaard. There's more space on the right for Saka. Saka gets hold of it now. He faces up Ouattara, produces a cross deep to the far post. Tomiyasu keeps it alive, put behind us, away for a corner.
Yeah, Arsenal just building up. It's a real strange game. I'm just pleased I'm here as a commentator and not as someone who's trying to do a match report to play Bournemouth next week. So I'd find it really difficult to quantify how good, bad or average they've been today.
By that, you're saying if you were scouting for, I don't know, West Ham and you're saying this is what we're going to come up against, it would be hard for you to quantify what it is you're going to face.
Exactly that. They look like a team to me that are playing in second gear and playing with no pressure of a defeat on their shoulders in any way, shape or form. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Rice to take the corner from the near side, the Arsenal left. It'll be a right-footed ball in towards the near post. It's glanced towards goal. It's headed away, comes back off Gabriel and goes behind and away for a goal kick. There's a series of ricochets there. Gabriel got the final touch. Tomiyasu, I think, got the initial header at the near post, flicked it on. It then went straight off of the head of Gabriel and goes behind and away for a goal kick to Bournemouth away to our left. We're approaching the hour mark. This is Talksport. We're round the grounds with Adrian Durham from 2:30 this afternoon. Just a handful of games in the Premier League. Oh, play on, says the referee, and Saka's got it back right side. He's fed Ødegaard edge of the area. Oh, he's dug it out over the bar.
What exactly went on there? It looked as though Ouattara just stopped and gave the ball away, didn't it?
Yeah, I think there was a problem over on the far side. He thought the ball had gone out or they'd stopped the game. He gave it to Saka and Saka then fed Ødegaard. Ødegaard should have done more with it.
Yeah, Areola certainly not too happy about it. They look as though they might give the ball away and gift Arsenal a goal by playing out at the back, but they seem comfortable in what they're doing. And Partey's just induced a booking.
Yes, he has. Big goal at St Andrews. Birmingham lead Norwich by 1-0. Birmingham 1, Norwich City 0. Now, Birmingham need to win today in order to have any chance of staying in the league. Back to that in just a second. Here's Kluivert with an effort, edge of the box, and he has hit that with some venom. It's well wide of goal. But I tell you what, there were a few in this stand that had a little bit of a shake.
You're exactly right there. He's opened his body up to sort of fade it to the far corner, then shut his foot and hit it with venom and pace. But I've got to say, he's missed the near post by a country mile. Is country mile all right? Is that fair? Is that like acres of space, country mile, or no?
We'll have to send him a letter and ask him. Birmingham need to win and hope that Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday lose, or Plymouth fail to win. But they have got a bit of a tough scenario on their hands, because Birmingham are leading, but so are Plymouth at this moment in time. I'm not saying it doesn't help them, but it's going to be more and more difficult for them to stay in the division, even with a victory as a result of that. Blackburn now in a little bit of danger. Should they concede a goal now, there could be a scenario where Birmingham go above them on goal difference. So Birmingham at this moment in time are giving themselves a chance, and Blackburn are in danger. They're away at Leicester. They've played an hour. It's 0-0 there, but they have become the most likely to drop into the bottom three at the expense of Birmingham if Birmingham continue to lead in their game against Norwich City. So it's on a knife edge at the bottom of the Championship. Plymouth, too, at this moment in time are leading by a goal to nil, so things are going well for them against Hull, but there's still half an hour to go in that match as well. I think there's going to be a few changes in that bottom three over the course of the next half an hour. In the playoff positions, Norwich, West Brom, Southampton and Leeds at this moment in time, and Ipswich promoted alongside Leicester City as it stands. Here on Talksport, we're concentrating on the Premier League and the title race, and hunting down Manchester City's Premier League title, which they won for a third time last year. Arsenal want to grab it, but they need a slip from the citizens, and they can't afford any slips themselves, which is why there is a degree of anxiety because of the scoreline. Ouattara picking it up for Bournemouth, moving to the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Oh, Solanke was manhandled there by Gabriel, who does have a sort of rush of blood to the head every now and again, and he made a mistake in the first half actually, and I think that was an unnecessary sort of grappling and kick out at Solanke, which has gifted them a free kick.
Yeah, it was clumsy more than anything. You've got to inspire him to want to get tight with forwards, which is a good trait, but you've got to make sure he does give free kicks away. It's a good opportunity, and Bournemouth have got literally 9 players around the ball. That's down to 8 now. It'll be interesting to see who takes this.
Well, I think it'll be Kluivert who takes it.
Yeah, looks that way.
But Ouattara has now come across as well, and he's in conversation with Kluivert's telling him to go away, so he's walking off again. I don't think that's going to work for him. Kluivert lining the ball up about 10 yards outside the penalty area, and there is Ødegaard's acting as the draft excluder behind the 4-man Arsenal wall. It's 5 if you include Partey, who's about half a step to their left-hand side. I think he's going to go for goal here, Kluivert. And remember, it's only 1-0 to Arsenal, and a Bournemouth goal would be bad news for the Gunners. A right-footed shot in towards the near post. It hits the stanchion at the back of the goal.
Yeah, probably Kluivert suggesting it was closer than it actually was. I think Raya. Yeah, too much loft on that, not enough dip.
Well, the Arsenal fans want their team to lift it again, and it's jam-packed inside this stadium, dappled with red and white everywhere. A crowd that have been very much behind their team this season, knowing they can continue to push Manchester City just with victory after victory after victory. Occasionally it might feel a little bit tentative because of the lack of goals at one end, which they think they should probably have more of, Arsenal, but they have at this moment in time the advantage. They lead by a goal to nil. Remember, Bournemouth actually always score. They've scored so often this campaign. Not many people stop them from scoring. Only one of their top flight games away from home. In the last 17 have they failed to score, and that was at Everton in October. So there'll always be a threat. Arsenal go to Manchester United. We'll be with them on the Sunday session. It will come from Manchester United next Sunday, as Arsenal look to try and continue their charge towards top spot. We'll also be next Saturday with Manchester City as they go to Fulham, and we'll be at their game away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ball over the top, Kluivert trying to chase. He had the better of Saliba for a second, and he held up because the ball held up. He's cut back infield, tries to get the shot away, blocked by Partey. Big strong block, and now Arsenal encouraged to come forward. Ødegaard, Christie has a swipe at him. He plays the ball forward looking for Havertz, and despite the proximity of three defenders, he still emerges with the ball, Havertz. The German prods it out wide. It's on to Saka, slows the play up and gives it to Ødegaard, who after having rid that challenge has still found Rice. Through the 6-yard box it goes, no one to poke it home. And it trickled almost along the goal line there from Declan Rice's centre. Tomiyasu back to the edge of the area. Gabriel back wide onto Trossard. 65 gone. Ødegaard through the 6-yard box. Zabarnyi away, and it's out for this near touchline. And Trossard's going to stop it from going for a throw in. He's going to get a free kick because Adam Smith decided that whilst he was trying to stop it from going for a throw in, instead of just letting him have the ball, he decided to bring him down, wrestle him round the neck and drag him to the floor. And then they've taken it quick, and it's been put out for a corner.
Yeah, and as I say, the nerves around us are absolutely tangible, because Bournemouth have had the odd attack there. Kluivert had a good opportunity, got a little bit selfish, I've got to say. Had 3 runners around him, ignored all of them and tried to get a shot away when it clearly wasn't on.
Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0, live on Talksport in the Premier League this lunchtime. And a corner away to our left-hand side gives Arsenal a chance to cultivate another opportunity. It's Declan Rice, right-footed, delivers the ball. It's in towards the near post. It's not a great delivery, actually, and he's been very good at that over the course of the season. It's easily prodded away. And Bukayo Saka, who scored the only goal of the game so far at the age of 22 years and 242 days, the youngest player to reach 20 goals in a season for Arsenal in all competitions since who in 1986-87?
Wow, 86-87, a youngster you're looking at.
Yeah, under the youngest player to reach 20 goals since 1986-87. So he's got to be younger than 22. This guy was 21 years and 30 days old when he did it.
Just trying to go back to
I always remember him wearing a long sleeve shirt for some reason. I've got him in my mind as a long sleeve shirt.
Out and out centre forward?
Not really, no. Ash brown floppy hair.
Oh.
Martin Hayes.
Martin Hayes? I would never have guessed that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I didn't know he scored that many.
Ball played down the left then for Bournemouth. Good ball by Cook this to send Semenyo down the left-hand side. His ball into the box is cut out by Saliba. Brilliant defending by Saliba. And then he whacks it clear. Excellent work by him. Not controlled well by Zabarnyi. He then gets a second bite at it. But the Cherries, unfortunately, have lost the ball here. And now Rice has picked it up and gone through the centre circle. Unfortunate for Zabarnyi, not for Declan Rice, and for Tomiyasu, who's coming forward. 1-0 to Arsenal. Back when Martin Hayes was playing for the team, 1-0 to the Arsenal was a familiar chant around Highbury.
It certainly was. That was a big scoreline in these parts of the world. You don't feel so comfortable with a 1-0 scoreline nowadays, do they?
You don't feel comfortable with a 3-0 scoreline.
That's a good point. I'll tell you what, the front three for Bournemouth have disappointed me a little bit today. I think they've had a couple of opportunities, not created a great deal for their team, I don't think.
Well, Philip Billing, I think, is about to come on for Bournemouth in just a second to try and spice up that attack, add a little bit more height to proceedings, especially. Arsenal trying to build another attack down the right-hand side. Dango Ouattara gets the better of Saka, then Saka gets the better of him. It goes out for a throw-in over on the far side. 68 gone, nearly 69, and it's Talksport. Saturday afternoon, the home of live football, more football than anybody else. Over the course of the next few hours, we will keep you up to date with everything that happens in the Premier League and beyond. Adrian's very much looking forward to it this afternoon, and we've got all our reporters at the games up and down the country. Havertz picks it up in the middle of the park, pokes it out towards White. White out towards the far side. Sent forward towards Saka. Saka onto Havertz, midway inside Arsenal territory. Ødegaard trying to push it into Rice, edge of the area, takes the touch, gets beyond Smith, gives it to Trossard! There's the second goal, there's the clinching goal. What a ball by Declan Rice into the path of Leandro Trossard, who caresses the ball into the corner beyond Travers. Arsenal celebrate. David Raya turns and runs to the clock end. He knows that's crucial. That's the clincher. It's 2-0 Arsenal. And Bournemouth, who have never kept a clean sheet against Arsenal, have been punished twice. And the Premier League top scorers in top form today, I think, have finished off the cherries. It's 2-0.
Yeah, Rice was onto it straight away and he set up Trossard. Trossard had the simplest of tasks, just to come onto it and guide it into the far corner beyond Travers, and that certainly, there's a few people shooting off to the toilet now, the fans, the Arsenal fans around us, they've been holding it in at 1-0, at 2-0 they can let it all hang out.
Well, there's an image for you. Well, maybe it's because they were crossing everything. That was what it was all about.
That was definitely. But you could feel the tension around us lift now from these, from everybody, and it's a second goal that Arsenal needed.
Yeah, Arsenal lead by 2-0. The second goal coming from Leandro Trossard, his 16th goal of the season. Couple of changes here, which we'll clarify in just a second. Scott, I think, has gone off to be replaced by Billing. For Bournemouth, who are now 2-0 behind, and Arsenal going 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. At the bottom of the Premier League, Burnley desperately trying to stay in it. They welcome Newcastle United today, and Matt Jones is there with the team news.
Just the one change for Burnley from their 1-1 draw at Manchester United, but it is a big call from Vincent Kompany as Josh Brownhill starts in favour of David Fofana. Meanwhile, Callum Wilson starts for Newcastle, as does Emil Krafth. Elliot Anderson and the injured Fabian Schär are the players to drop out. It's Burnley against Newcastle from 3.
Sheffield United take on Nottingham Forest at Bramall Lane, and Sheffield United are only 3 goals away from conceding 100 over the course of the Premier League season. It's live on Talksport 2, and your commentator is Nigel Adley.
So maybe it's not too much of a surprise they've made a defensive change today. Mason Holgate drops to the bench. Jack Robinson comes into the back 3. 2 changes for Forest. Nico Williams and Moussa Diakate drop out. Gonzalo Montiel and Ryan Yates come in. Full commentary over on Talksport 2 alongside Mickey Gray at 3 o'clock.
Looking forward to that. Talksport 2, which currently is keeping an eye on the Championship. I'll give you a quick rundown of what's happening there in just a second. But nothing but local pride to play for at the G-Tech this afternoon for Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, both sides make 2 changes here. For Brentford, Wieser and Jensen are replaced by Damsgaard and Lewis Potter, whilst Fulham welcome the return of Willian, and Lukic also comes in. De Cordova Reid and Harrison Reid, the players dropping out. It's Brentford versus Fulham.
Big goal at the bottom of the Championship. Leicester 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Sammy Smodics with his 26th goal of the season. It could be huge for Blackburn Rovers. It might keep them in the league. Raya punches the ball away, back in towards the edge of the box, and then it's turned in inside the 6-yard box. Offside flag is up. Well, Iraola is saying there was a pull inside the box beforehand, and there should be a penalty to Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have got the ball in the net and it has been chalked out. The ball went into the box, it was cleared into the air, Raya came out and punched it. Was there a pull on Billing? It came out to the edge of the area and Christie sent it goalwards. It went into the net. The referee had called offside at that point. Or was it a foul on David Raya? I think he's saying that Solanke fouled Raya, but there was a pull on I think that's, is it Philip Billing inside the penalty area? he certainly went down. He was pulled by Saliba. Now they're checking whether or not there was a foul on David Raya by Solanke. It certainly looks soft. It came out to the edge of the area and it was volleyed in by Ryan Christie. I think this might be given, you know.
Well, I don't know whether they're looking for offsides, whether they're looking for nudges. What? You know, it could be a multitude of it. It's very, very soft.
It can't be offside. It can't be offside because everybody is. Actually saying that no, he's not interfering with play. No, I don't think there can be an offside there because there's a player getting back towards the goal line. The first thing is, was there a foul on David Raya? That's what it's been disallowed for. So that's the first question. If that has been deemed too soft, then they will give the goal. There was a pull on Philip Billing, but that happened at the same time as the foul. So I think the penalty thing is almost spurious, really, because it will either be a goal or it won't be. The rest of it is the rest of it. The penalty is not going to come into it.
That narrows it down nicely.
It takes out one of the possibilities.
It certainly does.
They're still discussing it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a penalty here. I, like you, it will either be a goal or it won't be. They'll set the scenario to whatever narrative they want as per normal, I think.
Does Solanke foul David Raya, or is it just a nudge? That's the question.
The goalkeeper's reaction to going on the floor and jumping straight up suggests to me he didn't think he was fouled. This is where your luck's in on certain days because
it's in because
Havertz is taking penalty and then this one being disallowed. You would say, well,
that's not true either, is it? He's not been disallowed the goal. The goal was not given because they gave the free kick. But the referee has consulted the VAR, who hasn't overturned it.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether or not, had that been allowed, VAR would have got involved. I don't think they would have done. It's not a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, and I've just looked on a different angle of what we've seen, and it was Ben White, I think, pulling back Billing, and that looked a tug to me.
Well,
at what time that happened?
But it happened as the foul was taking place, so therefore they can't then give that. Here is Trossard at the other end, who scored what looked like being the clinching goal. 14 minutes to go, and it's Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 0. And David Raya just a little bit jittery there as he came to try and fist the ball away. You're listening to Talksport live on a Saturday lunchtime with Now, and don't forget that with Now you can get a ability to stream all the Sky Sports action with a Now membership. Just search Now Sports. 2 West Brom goals, West Brom 3, Preston 0. They're going to be in the playoffs. Birmingham City are in the lead against Norwich, but Blackburn are leading. That's bad news for Birmingham City. Sammy Schmonic's with a goal. It's all happening. Here come Arsenal into the penalty area, fired wide on the edge of the 6-yard box by Ødegaard. There was a couple that thought that was going in. It went wide of the left-hand upright.
Yeah, I think it should have gone in as well. As I say, they've set it up. Good running behind. Ouattara down. And Ødegaard's run straight onto it, opened his body up to slot it in the corner of the net. He got too much on it and pulled it into the side netting.
All happening over on Talksport 2 in the EFL Championship as it comes to its conclusion down at the bottom of the table. We think the top is probably sorted out now, with Ipswich winning as they are by 2-0. The playoff places taking care of themselves. But what does it mean for the bottom at this moment in time? Plymouth now the only team really that Birmingham can catch, but both Plymouth, Sheffield, in fact all of Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn, Plymouth, they're all winning at this moment in time. It's bad news for Birmingham City, who changed their manager John Eustace when they were on the verge of looking like mounting a playoff promotion campaign. Appointed Wayne Rooney, and then things have gone from bad to worse since then. Tony Mowbray came in, he got ill, best wishes to him. Gary Rowett's had to come in right at the very end of the season to try and help, but they just haven't been able to get enough points on the board. The damage is already done, and Birmingham at this moment in time, unless someone can help them out elsewhere, and they'll be looking at Plymouth and Hull for that, then they're going to go into League One for the first time since Barry Fry was in charge 30 years ago. Here is Ødegaard inside the centre circle. across to Rice. Rice further out towards this left-hand side. Trossard can't reach it. It goes out of play, and it's away for a throw-in. This is Talksport, and it's 2-0 to Arsenal. Here's a change. Bournemouth making one, and on comes Enis Unal for Marcus Senesi. And that is definitely not what you would call a straight change, is it?
No, certainly not. As I say, they need to go after Arsenal a little bit, make a game of it. I think if they did get a goal, make it interesting. You know, it'll be a nervous occasion here then.
I think that means that they're going to a back three of Lewis Cook, who's a defensive midfield player and he is not as tall as I am, which is a concern, Dango Ouattara and Zabarnyi. Or maybe Cook's going into the back four and Smith is going to stay at right back. So it could be a back four, but Cook is definitely going into the centre half position here.
Yeah, there'll be a few more spaces available now.
Well, he's done well in midfield actually at times today. Ødegaard to Havertz. White trying to poke it down to Saka. Saka looking to get round the back of Dango Ouattara. He turns it back to Havertz. Martinelli is about to come on for Arsenal, who lead by 2-0. It's clipped forward into the penalty area, half cleared by Christie. It might come to Havertz. He's hit the bar. Offside flag was up anyway. Interestingly, the referee lifted his hand and gave offside before the linesman raised his flag.
Telepathic.
It's probably the telecommunications device actually that they've got. Off comes Trossard, on comes Martinelli. Yeah, it's Arsenal's first sub of the afternoon. Martinelli coming in, and with 10 minutes to go. You can understand why he hasn't changed it. They've been on top, wouldn't want to affect the balance. They needed to get the second goal. Once they did get the second goal, I think that's probably the moment they started to relax. Then you had the confusion over the Raya foul. Was there a goal for Ryan Christie? Referee ruled it out. Be interesting when we look at that on Money in Black tomorrow. But they certainly are in the ascendancy, and Martinelli's had his first touch. He's in behind, he's into the penalty area. Can he go past the goalkeeper? Might not need to, because he looks like he's been fouled from behind by Cook. He wanted a penalty. He took too long actually to pull the shot away. He then got what he felt was fouled from behind. The referee David Cooch said no. Was he?
No. He just lost his footing. He just literally overrun the ball, become a little bit top heavy.
He didn't get touched by Cook or Adam Smith.
No.
He just stumbled, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He was running too fast for himself.
he probably should have.
I don't think I've ever done that, but
he probably should have maybe pulled the trigger a little bit earlier.
Definitely, without a doubt.
2-0 to Arsenal, 8 minutes to go, and maybe there's a sting in the tail from Bournemouth here as Solanke comes forward. Remember, Manchester City don't play till 5:30. Havertz trying to win the ball back, but almost inadvertently gave it to Enis Unal. He then goes back and wins it again for Arsenal. Excellent work by him, Havertz, who, remember, won the penalty. Second goal from Trossard, though, when you see it again, there's just this beautiful touch just beforehand from Declan Rice, which is exquisite, just so neat and tidy. And that goal, I think, probably seals the deal for Arsenal. Semenyo on the far side. Kluivert trying to probe the Arsenal defence. Delivered by Ouattara. Good defending inside the box by Partey. Just bumped Unal away from the ball, and it's cleared by the Arsenal defence to the far side. And it goes out for a throw-in. Ouattara has it.
Bournemouth just building up a little bit of pressure here. Arsenal happy to cede the ball, cede ground, just keep the play in front of them.
Well, Arsenal pinching it again on this near side. Martinelli, Havertz, and then a strong challenge by Smith, and he's going to get a yellow card as a result of that. Havertz went in quite hard on that as well, actually. They both did.
Well, I think that's a tough booking on Adam Smith, I really do.
You would have played on, wouldn't you? Get on with it, lads.
You had to be fair. You've got to.
It's the yellow card for Smith. The Havertz song goes around the Emirates Stadium. And Arsenal take their free kick. Talksport 2, the place for Sheffield United. And Nottingham Forest a little bit later on. What a big game that is for Nottingham Forest, especially after last night's result. Luton 1, Everton 1 on Talksport. It's an opportunity that was not grabbed by Luton Town. They'll be kicking themselves when they look back at that. They could end up falling into the Championship as a result. Games are running out now for them. They know that even 2 wins might not be enough for them at this stage of the season. Burnley, the final opponent for Nottingham Forest as well, who played well actually in the game against Man City last Sunday. Going to be a change here for Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus is coming on, and off comes Bukayo Saka, who scored the opening goal from the penalty spot just before half-time. Bukayo Saka, 20 goals for the season, gets a standing ovation, turns to all 4 sides of the ground, looks at the north bank, gives them a clap, looks at the clock end, gives them a clap, walks over to this east stand, and knows that Arsenal are going further clear at the top of the table for now. David Raya is up on the halfway line, just taking some instructions and having a word with Bukayo Saka. Now he's slapping hands with Jesus. And now he runs back into the middle of the centre circle as Arsenal prepare to take a free kick from this near side. And Odegaard is presiding over it with 4.5 minutes to go at the end of the game here at the Emirates. Down to Martinelli, who had a chance to score with his first attack after coming off the bench. Gets it back from Odegaard. Back in from Odegaard, left-footed, deep towards the far post. Headed down by Havertz. Comes towards the defender. Gabriel, who turns, swivels, hits it. But an offside flag is up. He celebrates, runs away to grab the ball, and then collapses with his head in his hands. He can't believe the flag has gone up.
Yeah, as I say, looking like a potential Havertz header that set up the strike. I don't think it was Gabriel. He took it fantastically well.
It's tight. It's really tight.
Great finish, though. I've got to say. Finish.
He hit that. And it was unreachable as well. Went straight into the corner of the net. They will just check it quickly on VAR. I think that he just gone just a slight bit earlier. VAR is checking it. Gabriel's annoyed because he's sitting there going, come on, it must be close. And it is close but not close enough. And VAR have said that the on-field call was correct. Havertz was offside.
See, when you don't score a lot of goals,
that hurts.
What should happen is cancel our penalty and put that one in. The score still stays 2-0, but we've got a better goal for our end of season montage.
Yeah, we liked it, that's why. Yeah, it was nice, it was good fun. One to look at. That would be a good compilation. Goals that never existed. Great goals that never existed. Yeah. Go back to the other week when you and I were at Wembley for Coventry City's goal. One of the worst. I was doing it for TV that day. One of the worst moments ever because it brought so much joy to the Coventry fans, and then the tiniest little infraction, and it just completely killed it. And that goal, which was a really good goal and a massive moment, will never count.
No. And it'll be forgotten when it, well, not in Coventry.
I'm sure Manchester United fans will be delighted that it happened, but, you know, it was just one of those great moments that never exists.
Yeah.
2 minutes before the end of the game, Romain Favre coming off the bench and Max Aarons coming off the bench for Bournemouth as well, as we get to the final few moments of the season. Their European hopes will be falling away here, Bournemouth, not that they had that many anyway. And Arsenal's hopes of the title will live on. Mikel Arteta, who has always been concerned and motivated to ensure that his team keep their performance levels high in critical stages of the season, the game has certainly done that. You know, this is one of those games, you know, they knocked on the door. They had that moment where Saka felt that he was badly treated and Ryan Christie was not sent off. It was all seemingly going against them. Then they got the penalty. Then they went further in front when it was still narrowly in the margins in the second half, and now they're going to win, put 3 points on the board and keep putting pressure on Manchester City, who have to win every game. Look, they're top, Arsenal. It's Manchester City who've got to do their job as well, and that mustn't be forgotten.
Yeah, it's been a workmanlike performance by Arsenal. Not one of their better performances this year, but they've certainly gone about their business, been comfortable victors within the game, and had the lion's share of efforts at goal, that is for sure.
Yeah, they will equal a club record of 26 wins in a 38-game Premier League season, and they are one shy now of a club record 88 goals in a season, which was set last year. So they've got 2 games to eclipse that. So they are moving forward, Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta must be credited, I think, with doing a very good job. He's had the backing of the board, of Edu, the technical director. They've allowed him to flex his muscles, but he has flexed his muscles. He has come up with the right tactical plans and the right moments as Favre goes down the right-hand side and does a lovely little bit of skill, then runs into Declan Rice, who gives away a foul on this near side. I think that was probably about right.
Well, it's very difficult to tell, isn't it? You know, he's done brilliantly well. Little nutmeg and went on a driving run.
And Tomiyasu got the
maybe a little touch on the outside of the foot.
Nicolas Jorver, the set-piece coach, is out on the edge of the technical area, just organising the Arsenal response here as the set-piece from Christie, the Scotland international, is about to be dripped into the box. He does deliver it in towards the far post. It's headed away by Ben White, and Ennis now will see it out for a corner. He scored from a corner last week, didn't he? So he'll be happy with that. Christie, who will come up against Kai Havertz in the European Championships on opening night, when we bring you all of the games from Euro 2024. Germany against Scotland starts us off on the Friday night on the 14th of June. And those two will be involved in that. Ball in towards the near post, flicked towards goal by Enisu now, but it's Saliba who will tidy it up. You know, there's a problem inside the penalty area. Referee has said play on. Tomiyasu thinks he's got something in the face here. Here is Ødegaard, who sends it into Havertz. Havertz down the right side. 91 minutes. It's going to be 8 minutes of added time at the end of the game.
Well, it must be for all the VAR stoppages. I don't think there's been too many on the injury front.
Ødegaard takes it on, runs towards the right. He's got some support from Gabriel Jesus, who jinks into the box and runs into traffic, overran the ball and was dispossessed by Lewis Cook, who again puts in a very good tackle. It's poked to the far side. 92 minutes on the clock. It's Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 0. Job done here. Let's have a quick look at what's going on over on Talksport 2 at this moment in time. Because at the moment Ipswich Town are going to secure promotion at the bottom of the table. It's all going off. Blackburn have scored a second goal against Leicester. They lead by 2-0. Bad news for Birmingham City that Plymouth still 1-0 up at this moment in time against Hull going into the 89th minute. Means that Birmingham are going to join Huddersfield and Rotherham in League One next season. It's really bad news for Birmingham City, for Tom Brady, for Gary Cook and the ownership group that took over last year. They're going to find themselves with a big rebuilding job to do in Birmingham. Not been in the third tier for 30 years, but they're going to slip at St Andrews. I imagine that Ian Danter is not revelling in the Ipswich celebrations at this moment in time, but he is slightly concerned about what's going to happen to his beloved Blues. And Blackburn's second goal certainly now just edging Birmingham closer and closer to the third tier. Full time at Portman Road. Congratulations to Kieran McKenna and Ipswich. They are promoted to the Premier League. Those scenes now unfolding of unbound joy. It's been a long time since they were relegated. They had playoff campaigns under Jim Magilton. Joe Royal trying to get back into the top flight in the early 2000s. It never quite happened for them, but they are back in the big time now, Ipswich, after winning their game by 2-0. It's a result which also relegates Huddersfield Town. They are down. Here, Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport with Super 6. Predict 6 correct scores from this weekend's football action, and you can win £250,000 without spending a penny. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. 94 minutes on the clock, and just playing out time now inside this stadium. Can you see Manchester City slipping at any juncture?
I think they certainly not today. I think their games programme isn't bad at all, but you just never know when the pressure comes on. It's a strange one. Bournemouth 2-0 down, and it look as though if you didn't know better, you would say the score's 0-0, and they're ticking along nicely and not too fussed about getting a goal back, you know, in their demeanour, which is really strange.
Raya comes out and clatters into Enisu now, loses the ball. There's a foul on Ødegaard in the centre circle. It's going to be a free kick. 4 points will be the lead at full time for Arsenal. But what about at the end of the day when Manchester City have played Wolves? What will it be there? They wilted last season under the heat of City's chase. This season they've kept going, head down. Even when setbacks have come, they have motored on Arsenal and deserve credit for that. We are top of the league, seeing the Arsenal fans. How long will that last now? They need Tottenham to do them a favour, or maybe Fulham next week live on Talksport. That Tottenham game, that Fulham game, both on Talksport. Yellow card for Christie for the foul on Ødegaard. There'll be some that say he shouldn't be on the pitch anyway after his challenge on Saka earlier in the game.
I think the one thing that might count against City, Sam, on the run-in is they've got that extra game, haven't they, you know?
Yeah, they've got Fulham to play on Talksport, then that game in hand against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know.
No, that won't be easy down at Tottenham. I think City's slow, patient build-up might just suit Tottenham a little bit.
Well, Tottenham have got a good record against them, haven't they? I mean, it was the first time that they won at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I think, when they did so in the Cup earlier in the season. And they've struggled there a little bit. Arsenal fans will be hoping that Tottenham do well that night. Be a sort of conflict of emotions for them. And they'll be glued to Talksport for it. Here is Fav on this near side, looking to poke the ball down into the path of Aarons. It's won though by Arsenal, who look to counter-attack with Ødegaard. He's got Havertz to his left-hand side. He wanted the ball. It was steered to Jesus, who was a little bit further wide than he needed to be. Jesus cuts back in, plays a reverse ball into Rice, takes it down well, gets it into the box, arrows it into the corner. Declan Rice finishes off Bournemouth, sends Arsenal to the top of the table with a 4-point cushion, and sends a message to everyone that they mean business. They are determined to stick around and stay the course this time. He created the second goal, Declan Rice. He scored the third. Excellent feat from the Arsenal man. What does 105 million quid get you? It gets you a very influential midfield player who is having his most prolific season in front of goal. 3-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, as I say, that's a much better finish by him. As I say, took an extra touch. I thought the opportunity had gone from a really tight angle. Maybe the goalkeeper could have looked at himself a little bit there. He's almost dived past the ball, if you like, and ceded too much of the goal on the open side. But let's not take it away. A good finish by Declan.
Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Declan Rice with the goal, and that goal means that they equal their record of goals in a Premier League season for 88 over the course of this campaign. The most wins in the Premier League, the fewest defeats, the best defence, the best attack. Here comes Partey through the middle of the park, out towards the right side, and it's pinched in front of Ødegaard, and Ouattara steams clear up towards the halfway line, and then it'll be pinched by Tomiyasu, but can't get it any further clear than Solanke. And Arsenal now having to defend in the final few seconds. We played out 8 minutes of added time. It's 3-0 against Bournemouth with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Full-time whistle. Arsenal fought out in front again. Chest puffed out, pride intact, gauntlet laid down. If you beat us, you beat us. but we're not handing it to you. That is the message. Mikel Arteta refuses to make it easy for his former employer. City will have to win, will have to respond, because Arsenal aren't being pushed around this year. Saka, Trossard and Rice with the goals. Bournemouth beaten again. A game in which they dominated from the start. Were frustrated they weren't further ahead before half-time, but eventually killed off Bournemouth towards the end of the game. Means it's all 3 points for Mikel Arteta and 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League, ahead of Manchester City against Wolves later in the day. It's finished here. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much indeed. ABBA is ringing out around the Emirates Stadium. Voulez-vous? I thought they'd go for something in Spanish if it's Arteta against Pep Guardiola, because you know what? Arsenal have done their job today. It wasn't the prettiest of football that we've seen from Arsenal all season, that free-flowing attacking style that they've been accustomed to and their fans have been accustomed to all season, but this is an Arsenal that have got the job done. That's exactly what they needed to do today. So it is over to you, Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Today, though, the party is firmly in North London. Arsenal have got the win, and the players are all still on the pitch. The fans are on their feet, clapping their team. They know this is a big, big day. It could have been a potential banana skin against the Bournemouth side, who are outside the top four, the most informed side in the Premier League. It wasn't meant to be. They did not lay a glove. The day belongs to Arsenal. They deserved it, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they certainly did. It was comfortable. I don't think Bournemouth were out of second gear, if I'm being honest with you. It looked like an end-of-season game for them. Arsenal swamped them in the first half, couldn't score probably, and Bournemouth managed to get some decent blocks in, but it looked like a game as soon as Arsenal scored that I said that it probably could go on to be a 4-0 or something, you know what I mean? They had a good go at that. They done what they had to do, Arsenal, and they'll be delighted with the 3 points.
Under pressure, Ice Ice Baby, you know, the little riff. Under pressure is playing in the stadium. They don't look under pressure, do they? They look like they are thriving under the pressure.
The players don't, which is a really good thing. The crowd do. 0-0 at 1-0. You can feel the tensions in and around us, you know, with the Arsenal fans. They know what's at stake. But listen, the team went out. Comfortable victory for them. 3-0, clean sheet. Very few chances on their goal, and the odd decision went their way, all thrown in the mix. Good day for Arsenal.
Yep, ice baby. They had ice in their veins. They kept their cool and they've got the victory. You mentioned those decisions, 2 VAR decisions. Havertz potentially left his leg trailing in a penalty decision that was given and then converted by Bukayo Saka. And a soft foul on David Raya, apparently by Solanke, and Bournemouth's sole goal was then disallowed. What did you make of VAR today, Stu?
I thought both decisions were wrong decisions personally. If professional football wants to outlaw diving, then the Havertz one you would chalk off. I could sit with the referee now, the officials that have given that decision, and they would talk around the subject and whatever, but they wouldn't convince me, to be honest with you. I've played the game too long to realise that the player's gone past the goalkeeper and trailed his leg and induced the contact. The other one, I'm not seeing a great deal of contact on the goalkeeper, if that's what it was ruled out for. But listen, that's the nature of the game nowadays.
That is the nature of the game. Declan Rice is out on the pitch at the moment. Everyone else is back in the dressing room. Declan's out there doing the TV interviews. 105 million. Created 1 goal spectacularly. Scored 1 goal brilliantly. Has he been the difference maker this season? Is he the man who can, barring any, slip-ups elsewhere, is he the man who can at least get Arsenal as close to the line as possible?
100%. Listen, this time last year, Arsenal floundered. This time round, the team that were here last year are more composed, and they've signed a fella that's worth over 100 million and price tag going up and up at this moment in time with the goals and the assists that he's getting. So you know, without a doubt he's contributed, and Arsenal were going to be even closer to the title this year.
A lot of people questioned it, didn't they? Was he worth 100 million?
Well, listen, I think we knew working with him at West Ham what a talent this boy was, and he was only ever going to get better. So what you were signing was a player that would improve, which is not a bad thing.
And what he's given Arsenal as well is those leadership qualities that he had at West Ham as well. And they needed leaders on the pitch. They needed a way to get over the line in tough situations. And in Declan, they've got a player like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's grown in self-esteem unquestionably, both for club and country. And he's an absolute, I mean, the way he conducts himself as well while on the subject is an absolute credit to football.
Absolutely is. Ice Baby still ringing round here, and some of the fans are starting to leave very slowly. A few of them are still there. I think they're watching Declan. I think they're waiting for some of the players to maybe come back out, maybe give them their shirts. There was a sign for Bukayo Saka's shirt, but so that is the Premier League, and the title race goes on. But I tell you what a final day it's been in the Sky Bet Championship regular season. Over on Talksport 2, we brought you all the action. Cheers here for Declan Rice, but cheers at Portman Road for Ipswich Town. What a season they've had. What a day it's been for their fans, because Ipswich Town, Kieran McKenna's men, are promoted back to the Premier League. They beat Huddersfield Town by 2-0. All they needed was a point today. They did the job in some style, and this is how it sounded live on Talksport 2.
And there it goes! Ipswich Town are back in the Premier League after a generation away. The Suffolk side have made it. 22 years away from England's top flight, but they secure automatic promotion by beating Huddersfield 2-0 at Portman Road.
Amazing for Kieran McKenna. Back-to-back promotions then for Ipswich Town. First time back in the Premier League since 2002, but there was heartbreak for Birmingham City. It's been a difficult season. They have been relegated to Sky Bet League One. They beat Norwich City at St Andrews by 1-0. We'll be there in a second. But they did what they needed to do, but it didn't matter because Plymouth Argyle put in a great performance to beat Hull City. And watching at Home Park for Talksport with John Roeder.
Yes, the celebrations on the pitch at the moment. Plymouth Argyle winning by 1-0. Joe Edwards with a header just before half-time. Hull pressed in the second half, but with West Bromwich Albion winning, Hull's chances of a playoff place had basically vanished, and Plymouth hung on, and they hung on right until the end. Desperately tense afternoon at Home Park, but Plymouth Argyle, who came up as League One champions last season, will remain in the Championship for a second successive campaign. Plymouth 1, Hull 0.
John Roeder, thank you very much. Let's hear then how it all sounded at St Andrews. There for Talksport with Alvin Martin and Ollie Klink.
Yeah, it's finished here, Reshbin. Birmingham City 1, Norwich 0, but the result was in vain. Birmingham are down. Their relegation to League One is confirmed. They battled to preserve their status, but they couldn't pull off that escape that they needed. Paik Sung-ho scored what could have been a crucial goal, but other results haven't gone their way, and this turbulent, tense and chaotic season, which has seen new owners, 4 managers, poor appointments, poor performances, ends in Birmingham City dropping down to the 3rd tier of English football for the first time in 30 years. Norwich have got their job done. They'll enter the playoffs. They will battle for promotion to the Premier League. But Alvin Martin for Birmingham City, and a sorry St Andrews here. It's a stark contrast.
Well, a packed ground, Ollie, a fabulous atmosphere, and a game of football that Birmingham really did do well in today. But it wasn't just about today, it was about the games that went before that, the decisions that have been made higher up in the club that they obviously got wrong, and it's about the future and getting them right from this moment on. What they have got is a lot of good things going for it here. They've got investment that's ready, they've got a great ground, they've got an absolutely wonderful following, and the crowd played a part today. But it's all about doing it week in and week out, and they haven't done that. It's not about today, like I say, it's about what went on before. But look, looking at this ground and looking at the future, the owners have said they're in for the long haul. We'll find that out.
Yeah, we will indeed. It's finished here at St Andrews. Birmingham 1, Norwich 0. Norwich head into the playoffs. Birmingham City are relegated to League One.
Thank you, Ollie and Alvin. Yeah, dark day for Birmingham City. Let's round up all the scores in the Championship then on this final day. Ipswich 2, Huddersfield 0, which we know means that Ipswich are promoted automatically. Leeds 1, Southampton 2. Leeds then finished third, Southampton are fourth. Both of them will be in the playoffs, as will West Brom, who beat Preston by 3-0. They finished fifth and they'll play Southampton in the playoffs. Birmingham 1, Norwich 0 was the final score at St Andrews. As we said, Birmingham are down. Norwich finished sixth, so they will play Leeds in those playoff places. Leicester 0, the champions 0. Blackburn 2, so Leicester already of course confirmed champions, but Blackburn do stay up with that result. Sunderland 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Sheffield Wednesday stay up as well. Plymouth 1 and Hull 0. As we say, Plymouth with that victory mean that they stay up. Hull miss out on the playoffs. Elsewhere it finished Coventry 1 at QPR 2, Middlesbrough 3, Watford 1, Rotherham 5, Cardiff 2, Stoke City 4, Bristol City 0, Swansea 0 and Millwall 1. We'll bring you more reaction from the Sky Bet Championship from the promotion party at Portman Road. Pop those champagne corks. It's going to be quite a night in Ipswich. All of that will be on Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. Now, though, we're returning back to matters at the Emirates, where Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 3-0, and it's time for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Stuart Pearce is still alongside me. Stuart, I feel like I know who your man of the match is going to be.
I wish I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, indeed. It's got to be someone in a red shirt. There is no doubt about that. I think I'm going Declan Rice.
I knew you were going to go Declan Rice. We've talked about him already, but just because we did distract slightly to the Championship, just to reiterate the performance that he put in today. Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 3-0. A lot of people thought that Bournemouth would have a bit more to give in this game, but Declan, in that midfield, he is just the midfield marshal, isn't he? But he does create opportunities. He gets criticised for not scoring enough goals, but he created one today for Leandro Trossard. Fabulous. I mean, it was all about him, and he scored a fantastic one as well in 7 minutes of added time.
Encourage him to get forward, he'll score goals. You know, he's got a great strike on him. Probably should have had one in the first half potentially, but listen, the goals and the assists are coming to his break-up play and his build-up play, so he's a complete player.
He is, absolutely. So that was our man of the match from today's game. Declan Rice was our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
So Arsenal go 4 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League table with that 3-0 victory over Bournemouth, but they will be keeping a keen eye on City's match against Wolves. That's at 5:30 this evening. Do stay tuned with us as Declan McCarthy, our producer, is heading downstairs to speak to both Mikel Arteta and Andoni Iraola, and you can hear both their reactions very shortly on Talksport, as well as all the fallout from that final day, a breathless final day of the Championship season. That's over on Talksport with Adrian. Over on Talksport 2, don't forget, we'll be bringing you live commentary of Sheffield United against Nottingham Forest, while here on Talksport, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League. That's up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Man City versus Wolves live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
1-1. 3-2. Oh, that's got goalless draw written all over it. Get your Super 6 predictions in before 3 p.m. today for the chance to win £250,000. It's free to play. There are more prizes than ever before and huge jackpots every week. There's even more to play for and more ways to win with Super 6. Download the app and enter for free by 3 p.m. Saturday. 18 plus, T's and C's apply.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Leave behind the workday blues. Every emotion and total devotion to the beautiful game. Game day.
Turbocharge your Saturday with Game Day.
What a ball! Game day live on Talksport.
3 Premier League games kicking off at 3, and we focus on the bottom 3. 2 teams fighting for survival are in action this afternoon. It could be a big day in the relegation picture. This is Game Day Live on Talksport.
A huge moment for Burnley, who were trying to cut the gap to safety. Amdouni on his right foot against Onana and sends him the wrong way. They are back level in this game and they are fighting for survival at Old Trafford. Manchester United won, Burnley won.
Every minute offers an opportunity to have a moment that will remain in the club's history.
Going to pull the trigger now and finds the bottom corner. Alexander Isak.
So rare in life that you get opportunities to have a significant moment like this. These guys will have the opportunity now in the next 3 games.
Sheffield United's brief visit to the Premier League. The first team relegated.
Comes back to Gibbs White. Goes down. Danilo. Forest have turned it around. That could be one of the most important goals at the City ground all season.
I'm sure that the way we do things is the way forward. So we must believe in ourselves, knowing that as long as we keep this football, we're going to do better.
Cross into the box. Rodrigo Muniz with a brilliant header at the near post. Tucked away by Visser. Staggering comeback from the Bees.
We always want more. I said that a few times, but this league is brutal. It's the best league in the world.
Good afternoon, I'm Adrian Durham. It's Game Day Live on Talksport as ever on a Saturday afternoon. Let's bring in our guys. First of all, Ray Parlour is at Brentford versus Fulham. The game we've just heard on Talksport, Ray. Arsenal, a little bit of help from VAR, but they deserve to win the game overall, and they're 4 points clear at the top. All they can do, keep putting the pressure on City.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about now. Just keep winning football matches and just hope someone can do you a favour. But yeah, they battered them the first 20 minutes, couldn't get that early goal. But in the end, they was very, very comfortable. Look, there was a little bit of luck along the way, I'm sure. VAR did play a bit of a part in it, but certainly Arsenal, that's all they can do at the moment, is keep winning games of football and hope that City slip up and they can take advantage of that.
And final day of the regular championship season. Let me round it all up very quickly in case you missed it. Ipswich were promoted with Leicester. Playoffs will see Norwich face Leeds. Leeds boss Daniel Farker took Norwich into the Premier League twice, and West Brom take on Southampton. Huddersfield's relegation was confirmed, and Birmingham City also relegated. They won their game, but the other 3 above them, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn, also won on an extraordinary final day towards the bottom of the table. Chris Wellamo's with me here at Burnley, Newcastle. Birmingham City relegated after 30 years out of the 3rd tier. They're back in there. It's quite hard to believe, really.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's a surprise the way that they started under different stewardship. Obviously, I think mistakes have been made from the top down. I think it can be a positive for the football club. You know, I think there's investment. They're talking about this sporting quarter in Birmingham, which is going to be fantastic for the community of the area. Go down, rebuild, start again, win games, bring that feel-good factor back to the club, and it can only be positives. Albeit the League One is very, very competitive. We talk about the Championship. League One is just as hard to get out of if you've got the facilities, the infrastructure, the fan base. Nothing's guaranteed. So I just think, you know, go down with the management, the structure in place, and then build and move forward from there.
Well, the last time Birmingham went down, they came back out, won the title, won the EFL trophy as well. They did a double with Barry Fry in charge, and they had one of the best seasons that they can remember. Neil Redfern's at Sheffield United Forest for us this afternoon. Another great story, Neil, is Ipswich Town. Successive back-to-back promotions for them, sealed today with a comfortable win over Huddersfield.
Yeah, afternoon, Adrian. Absolutely fantastic achievement by Kieran McKenna. You know, they've deserved it, to be fair. Ipswich, they played a really good brand of football. They've been pushed all the way, to be fair, by Leeds United. It wasn't happening for them this afternoon, but I just think it's a really good story. Fantastic young manager on the circuit, and it can only be good for football, be good for the Premier League.
Okay, Neil Redfern's at Sheffield United Forest. We will get reaction from the Championship games and from Arsenal's victory over Bournemouth as well. That's to come on this show on Game Day Live on Talksport. But let's go around the grounds with less than 15 minutes to kick off here at Turf Moor. Burnley looked doomed 2 months ago, but they've given themselves a chance. They host Newcastle. Alongside me for Talksport, Matt Jones.
Yeah, it's 1 defeat in 8 for Burnley, and with Nottingham Forest to play here at Turf Moor on the final day of the season, staying up is very much within their own hands. The problem for Vincent Kompany's side is they simply haven't been winning enough. 5 of those 8 matches have been drawn, including a 1-1 start stalemate at Manchester United last week. So can they pick up 3 points today? Well, they make one change from Old Trafford. Josh Brownhill replaces David Fofana. That means Muric is in goal with Assignon, O'Shea, Esteve and Coutinho across the back. Cullen, Berg and Brownhill will be the central midfielders, with Larson and Odegaard out wide and Foster up top. They take on a Newcastle side who are still pushing hard for European football but do struggle on their travels. The Magpies have the worst away record in the top half of the Premier League, winning just 4 times all season. Eddie Howe makes 2 changes from the 5-1 battering of Sheffield United last week. Callum Wilson, who netted the goals that relegated Burnley in 2022, replaces Elliot Anderson, while Emil Kraft comes in for the injured Fabian Schär. That means it's Dubravka in goal with a back four of Livramento, Kraft, Byrne and Hall. Murphy drops back into midfield where he joins Bruno and Longstaff, and then Wilson has Isak and Gordon for company in attack. It's Burnley against Newcastle from 3 p.m.
And Burnley's last game of the season is here at Turf Moor against Nottingham Forest, who they're trying to catch. Forest are relegated to Sheffield United. There for Talksport, Alan Biggs.
Yeah, big chance for Forest, a game they should win, but also big danger, I think, partly for that very reason, also because there's some recent history between these clubs, playoff opponents in the Championship just 2 seasons ago when Forest won. You could throw in as well that Sheffield United will have a belligerent Chris Wilder to answer to if they don't turn up today. The Blades 10 without a win, Forest just 1 win in their last 10. 2 Forest changes, Montiel and Yates come in, Sells in goal, Montiel, Bolly, Murillo and Aina across the back, Yates and Danilo in front of them, Elanga, Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi supporting Wood up front. Sheffield United's single change brings back skipper Jack Robinson, Fotheringham in goal, Bogle, Ahmed Hodzic, Robinson and Trusty at the back, Osborne, Harmer, Arblaster and Brooks in midfield, Archer and Brereton, Diaz up front. Sheffield United versus Nottingham Forest.
And just 4.5 miles between Brentford and Fulham, and they meet at the G-Tech. Watching for Talksport, Alfie Reynolds.
With 3 games to go, Brentford are safe, 10 points above the relegation zone. This afternoon, it's about doing the league double over their near neighbours. 2 changes for Thomas Frank. Jensen has a minor injury, and Wieser is on the bench. Damsgaard and Lewis Potter coming in. Flecken in goal, an unchanged back 4. Ayer, Collins, Pinnock and Reguilon. Damsgaard joins Norgard and Janelt in midfield, and Mbumo, Tony and Lewis Potter ahead of them. Fulham also make a double change. Harrison Reed and De Cordova-Reid the players to make way. Willian and Lukic coming in. Leno is in goal. Castagna, Diop, Bassi and Robinson in defence. Lukic and Palhinha in central midfield with Willian and Iwobi wide. Pereira plays behind Muniz up top. It's Brentford against Fulham.
Right, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. We're paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute payout. Applies to match odds 90 markets or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So Sam Rossbottom from Betfair is with us, and each week we place a bet on the Betfair Sportsbook with all the winnings going to the Bobby Moore Fund, raising funds for life-saving bowel cancer research. For our charity bet this week, we're placing a treble on Newcastle to beat Burnley here at Turf Moor, Forest to win away at Sheffield United, and Brentford Fulham to be a draw. Sam, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it should be a cracking afternoon of football once again, Adrian. I tell you what, at Turf Moor, massive game for both sides, really, isn't it? A win could potentially take Burnley out of the relegation zone. They're 21-10 to do that, but a win equally for Newcastle will keep them in the hunt for European football. They are fancied at 5-6. We're going to go with that one in our treble. We're also going to throw in there Forest to beat Sheffield United. Absolutely must win for them, and Forest are the favourites at 8-13 to beat Sheffield United. The home side already down 100-30 for the win, 23-10 the draw in that one. And then Brentford v Fulham, as we just heard, Brentford looking to do the double over their nearby London rivals this season. They are 10-11 to get all 3 points, Brentford. Fulham are 9-4 away from home, but we're going with the draw in this one. That's 21-10. So combining all 3 of those picks, Brentford and Fulham to be a draw, Newcastle to beat Burnley, and Forest to beat Sheffield United. We've backed that at just over 17-2. So Adrian, our £50 charity stake will return 478 quid if all 3 land, and that would take us well over £3,000 raised for the season so far, so fingers crossed that one comes in. And don't forget as well, we have backed those selections with match odds 90 markets, so if they are winning on 90 minutes, then they'll be settled as winners regardless of what happens in added on time. Fingers crossed, Adrian, for another winner today.
Yeah, quite the total. Sam, thanks very much. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. We're paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute payouts. Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. T's and C's apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Let's head back to Bramall Lane, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest. Neil Redfern is there for Talksport for Game Day Live this afternoon. What do you think Forest will have made of Luton 1, Everton 1 last night, Neil?
Well, it's another point on the board for Luton, to be honest, Adrian. Obviously a game they would have liked to have won, but again they keep the points ticking over, keeps them close to Forest, makes Forest, honest in this game today. They've got to get 3 points if they can, realistically. I mean, this is a game that Sheffield United have got to look at and think, even though it's a Premier League game and they've struggled, that they can win as well. So Summerson's got to give in this game this afternoon. I think that, to be fair to Forest, they had played really well against Man City at home, missed the chances, which is crucial in the Premier League. They can't afford to do that again this afternoon against Sheffield United. They've got to try and put the Blades to bed if they can.
All the referee stuff, Neil, and Clattenburg resigning his position at Forest this week, and the big bold statement that came out a couple of weeks ago. Has that affected the players, do you think? Should they just not have done that?
Yeah, I don't think it's helped. It's just added more confusion to something, that's a grey area for supporters anyway, and players and managers alike. It's not gone down well, VAR. I think people have made the right noises about it just to stay on side. But to be honest with you, for me, it's ruining the game. And I think it's important that, they get these decisions right.
Neil, let's head off to Ellen Road, because Southampton won 2-1 at Leeds at lunchtime in the final day of the regular season, and the Saints boss Russell Martin is with Mark Wilson.
Cheers, Adrian. Russell, congratulations on the win. How important was it you come here and ended the season on a high?
Well, I think it's really important we performed well and put in a performance that we felt proud of and positive about, and we did that, and thankfully we got the result as well. I'm pleased we're finishing that way. I think the players deserve that, and the supporters deserve that, and the staff deserve that for how brave they've been in embarking on the journey we want them to embark on. And 87 points has been a big effort, and a bit of frustration in there as well, a few drop points along the way, and we played against a team today who finished 3 points above us, who are very, very good. So it's a brilliant performance, and only lost once here all season, so it's a brilliant performance and a great result.
It is a good way to end the season, a very impressive performance. Could maybe have had a couple more goals as well.
Yeah, I think being really picky, there's lots of stuff we can take out of today, definitely that, a bit calmer in the final third and really make the most of them openings, but we've had a tough week the week before, so there's a little bit of tension in the lads, and they grew out of that and got better as the game went on, and then we had to soak up some pressure in the last 15-20 minutes, which we did brilliantly. So we showed both sides of the game today, and we're going to need that moving forward.
You were on such a great run, and then obviously that blip that ended the automatic chances. How pleased are you with the mental response of the players?
Yeah, genuinely, like last week when you put it into context, it was difficult because it was at the end of a 6-week schedule, 11 games in 32 days, because we had 2 games postponed, so we had to fill them. So we didn't have time to work on the training pitch. It was train, recover, play, recover, play again, and the energy just slowly faded in all of us, myself included. So I have to be conscious of that. And then this week has been a lightness, there's been energy back, and they played with that today, and that's what we asked for. So we need to continue that.
There was a bit of spice in the game. There were a few tackles flying, and you could yet meet again in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you have to expect that from 2 teams with really good players on the pitch and desperate to win, and probably a bit of frustration at not being in the automatic places as well. So, if we meet again in 3 weeks' time, it will be I thought it was a really top quality game today. I think it'll be a game to look forward to, and it'll be a tough one, that's for sure.
So all in good spirits then going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to it. We have a tough 2 games now against a really good team, and now it's all about getting ready for that. The minute we get on the bus, we start preparing.
Well, good luck for the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, there you go. That's Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, live at Ellen Road with Talksport's Mark Wilson. Southampton winning 2-1 at Ellen Road earlier. Who are you fancying for the playoffs, Chris?
Well, that's a big statement, isn't it? I think it's a massive result for Southampton, that. And then it's just that mental side, that could be the possible playoff final. So straight away, he's sitting there saying, we missed quite a few chances. He'll take a lot of confidence from that result.
Oh, they will. Leeds, by the way, have had 5 playoff campaigns, not won one of them, and they've actually lost every final they've been in the last 52 years.
Yeah, it does play a part. I think as players I've been in that position now, the unlucky dressing room at the Millennium Stadium and at Wembley when the players, those records are there to be broken, and that's an incentive for any manager or staff to say to the players, look, we've never won a final, go out and put yourself down in history to the players, and that should be an incentive. But if you look at it, what is it, four losses in the last 6 for Leeds. They talk about bringing confidence and momentum and that mentality that they've shown all season, and the wheels have fallen off at the business end. That is a massive concern. Now they have to go again. They've got to nurse this hangover and do whatever it takes to galvanise the group. And Daniel Farke, he's a class act. If there's anyone that can do it, he can do it.
Yeah, they didn't just lose at QPR a couple of weeks ago, they got annihilated by Queen's Park Rangers. It could be a dress rehearsal today for the playoff final. We'll wait and see. Leeds 1, Southampton 2, both go into the playoffs. Southampton certainly in good form. It'll be Norwich against Leeds, it'll be West Brom against Southampton. We're about to observe a minute's applause here for the former Burnley legend, Leighton James, who died recently.